Chapter 708. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. When Night Sorrow arrived at the call, Yilingxia and the others were cultivating. When they noticed his arrival, they all stood up and bowed to greet him. Yilingxia also cupped his hands. The pills have been sent to the family, Yilingxia said to Night Sorrow. Then we still need to get some more. After all, the current members of the Night Moon dynasty also need to cultivate and improve their strength, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. He couldn't watch the Night Moon dynasty fall into a state of stagnation. We didn't send all of them in, just a portion. The Night clan doesn't need so many pills. Sixth uncle sent them in according to the demand. Right now, there's no problem with the supply of Night Moon's resources. Yilingxia shook his head after hearing Night Sorrow's words. He knew that Night Sorrow had misunderstood him and thought that all the pills had been sent in. That's good. If there's still a lack of resources, sixth uncle can let me know. Night Sorrow nodded to Yilingxia. It's enough. You've taken out so many pills. How is it not enough? Even in the heyday of the Night Moon dynasty, the supply of resources wasn't as abundant as it is now, and the quality wasn't as high. Yilingxia shook his head. He felt an inexplicable pressure in his heart because the current Night Moon could be said to be on Night Sorrow's shoulders alone. Then, Night Sorrow and the others sat down. Yilingxia talked about the current situation of Night Moon. Night Sorrow also mentioned the reason why Haotian City couldn't appear recently. The time is uncertain, but it doesn't affect us much. Night Moon is now managed by the members of the branch. Elder Linglong is fully responsible for Night Moon's matters. There won't be any mistakes, Yilingxia said. Currently, our Night Moon needs saints and invincible venerables. We can't help with saints, so we have to create invincible venerables. Sixth uncle, what's your situation? Asked Night Sorrow. He hoped that Yilingxia could enter the invincible venerables realm. Not now, because the Night Moon Sea is an area with dense spatial energy. In the seal, the bloodline power can't be strengthened. Uncle can't enter the invincible venerable level, but he's still at the top of the peak venerables, said Yilingxia. In other words, you need to strengthen your bloodline talent now. If you can enter the invincible venerable realm. Night Sorrow asked. That's right. Right now, sixth uncle is between a pinnacle honorable and an invincible honorable. But don't worry. When the family reappears, sixth uncle can spend some time to go to the family's blessed land to strengthen himself. Yilingxia said. Will space crystals work? Night Sorrow asked again. Yes, but where can you get them? You can't get them even with top-grade spirit stones, so you don't have to worry about this. Just take care of yourself. Yilingxia patted Night Sorrow's shoulder with a smile. That's good. Take these. Night Sorrow took out 10 space crystals and 20 top-grade spirit stones. Why are there so many? Yilingxia stood up excitedly. Uncle, take them to cultivate. In the future, if saints don't interfere, invincible venerables will be the key to victory. You must become an invincible venerable, said Night Sorrow. Take them back. Your future is the most important. Resources should be used where they are needed most. Sixth uncle can take his time. As long as his bloodline talent is strengthened to the extreme, he can continuously use space/ and become an invincible venerable. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of time. Yilingxia didn't take the resources. Uncle, just take them. I have the help of the pagoda of time and space. My own improvement won't be a problem, said Night Sorrow. Yilingxia looked at Yilingyuan and the others behind him and said, take back those top-grade spirit stones. Granduncle's cultivation has reached a bottleneck. He doesn't need energy to increase his cultivation. As for them, the dragon spirit pill is enough. All right then. Do you need space crystals? Night Sorrow looked at Yiling Yuan and the others. No need. Our talent is limited. We can't use space/ and can only use space/. The dragon spirit pills are enough. Thank you, young master. Yiling Yuan and the others bowed. Although they didn't need the space crystal, they were very touched by Yi Shang's words. The space crystal was a top-grade resource, but Yi Shang was willing to take it out for his family. Alright, then I'll take my leave. Sixth uncle, if there's anything, you can find me over there. Night Sorrow pointed in the direction of his camp. Night Sorrow left. Yiling Xie was still deep in thought. He was greatly moved. At the same time, he understood that Night Sorrow was really going all out for the family. Prince, Night Moon is lucky to have such a young master, said Yiling Yuan. Yes. Night Moon needs time. He also needs time. With his talent, he is destined to become an invincible venerable in the future, and a king among invincible venerables. Even higher achievements won't be a problem, murmured Yiling Xie. Yiling Yuan and the others didn't know, but Yiling Xie knew that Night Sorrow's bloodline far surpassed the ancestors of the Yi clan. When he grew up, his achievements were destined to surpass them. There were records in the Yi clan's ancient records that if one could activate 6 bloodline energy points, they would be able to comprehend space law because they had the power of law. In other words, there was a high chance of entering the saint realm. This was also why Yiling Huan could become a half-step saint without an origin stone and continue to strive for the saint realm. It was because he had 5 bloodline energy points. Night Sorrow returned to the camp and saw Yun Huang, who was practicing his knife skills. Captain, you've been running for a month and a half. Where did you go? Asked Yun Huang as he put away his scimitars. I went out to cultivate. You need to stabilize your cultivation after eating the dragon spirit pill. Also, it's important to have a high degree of control. Is Ling Long meditating? Asked Night Sorrow. She's been working hard recently. Her foundation is unstable and she can't eat the dragon spirit pill. How can she not be anxious? Said Yun Huang with a smile. It's not good to talk about people behind their backs. Do you understand? Ling Long walked out of the tent. I didn't say anything bad about you, said Yun Huang speechlessly. Okay, Tianyu, go catch some prey. Let's drink. Night Sorrow said and let Tianyu out. Eating barbecue, Night Sorrow repeatedly emphasized the problem of using the dragon spirit pill. He didn't want to cheat Yun Huang and Ling Long. After eating the barbecue and drinking some wine, Night Sorrow went into the tent and directly fell down to rest. He was very tired these days, but the effect was still very obvious. Look at the main chapter, / after resting for a night, Night Sorrow practiced his spear skills for a while and then came to Wu Lingfei's tent. You're here. How is it? Did things go well in the Night Moon Dynasty? Asked Wu Lingfei as she got up and made tea. It went very well. There were no problems. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 709. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with interesting novels to read. It's nothing. I like the feeling of cultivation very much. Love go little say web, Chu Night Sorrow said. Not everyone can be like you. Take Aunt Fei as an example. After reaching the place where I explored that day, I would have to consume a lot of energy to enter again. Aunt Fei's life law is ineffective against the destructive energy in the spatial turbulence. That is the energy of supreme beings. Even if cultivators of other attributes have comprehended the laws, they won't be able to suppress the spatial turbulence. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. She understood that only Night Sorrow could cultivate like this. The others could only watch helplessly. On the island occupied by the Qingtian region, sacred she was sitting cross-legged in a large tent. Two men were standing in front of her. If Night Sorrow was here, he would recognize them. One of them was his old enemy, Ji Yuhao. The other was Su Mu, who came from the Medicine Valley just like him. Don't be distracted by the emergence of Clear Sky City. Su Mu, you have to strengthen the cultivation of your mental state. Otherwise, you will be stuck at the peak void inquiry stage because your cultivation base is not high enough. She looked at Su Mu and said, "Disciple understands." Su Mu bowed and said, "Ji Yuhao, the time attribute is indeed strong. However, Night Sorrow has the innate bloodline of the Night Moon dynasty. His space attribute is not much weaker than your time attribute. You have to cultivate your combat ability more. His combat ability is very outstanding." She looked at Ji Yuhao and said, "When Clear Sky City emerges this time, I will definitely kill him if I see him." Ji Yuhao's eyes were filled with killing intent. No one hated Night Sorrow more than he did. He hasn't broken through to the Venerable Realm yet. You can't attack him. Otherwise, if the Tianji Tower wants to kill you, no one will be able to protect you. If he enters the Venerable Realm, it will be a different matter. The period when he has just broken through to the Venerable Realm is the best time. Shi's eyes flashed with two rays of cold light. I can't get any news about him at the moment. However, since Clear Sky City has appeared, he will definitely try to break through to the Honorable Realm. As long as he appears in Clear Sky City, I will kill him. I won't give him any chance to jump around, Ji Yuhao said. The Silver Sunset Saint nodded. She and Xie Longjun were enemies. Night Sorrow was someone that Xie Longjun valued highly. He could be said to be one of the key figures in the next generation's showdown. Therefore, she did not want to see Night Sorrow continue to grow and be killed by a cultivator of the same level. That could only mean that Night Sorrow was not strong enough. Xie Longjun could only bear with it. That bastard, I can't wait to kill him. Su Mu also cursed angrily. He was originally a genius disciple of the Medicine Valley, but Night Sorrow's appearance had destroyed everything he deserved. Su Mu, you have comprehended the extreme earth element, and you also have the wind element. You have both speed and strength talent, so you can't rush it. First, you have to improve your realm. Second, you have to improve your combat ability. This is very important. She looked at Su Mu and emphasized again. She knew that in terms of combat ability, no one in the same level of cultivation was a match for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's 5th stage cultivation was able to escape from a 6th stage venerable. He could also kill a 1st stage venerable. This was something that other cultivators did not even dare to think about. Senior, Night Sorrow was able to kill a 3rd stage venerable because his realm was high. After he entered the Venerable Realm, did he not have any qualitative improvement? In other words, when he was at the peak of the 5th stage, his combat ability was not much different from when he entered the Venerable Realm. Ji Yuhao asked. It's hard to say. Once he enters the Venerable Realm, Night Moon Dynasty and Tianji Tower will definitely equip him with spirit tools. He can use spirit tools and has the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda, so he won't be easy to kill. However, once you have the chance, don't let it go. Now, unless something happens to him, the one who has the highest chance of killing him is you. Have you refined the time crystal? She looked at Ji Yuhao and asked. Yes, I have. The time element has been strengthened by 20%. If it was the same situation as before, killing him wouldn't be a problem. Also, I don't know why, but his body can block my time sword chi. Ji Yuhao nodded and thought for a moment before asking. B #A. V. 1 number 5. Originally, P #T is a pirated S, he can block your time sword chi. That's an ability that only those with high or supreme attributes can have. Could it be that he has some secret? She stood up and paced back and forth, thinking. Yes. Last time, my time sword chi managed to cut through his defensive energy shield a few times. However, once it entered his body, it lost its power. It could have cut him in half, but it only managed to cause some minor injuries. Ji Yuhao said, trying to explain the confusion in his heart. His body cultivation is quite good, and his essence chi smoke is about 40 to 50 feet high. However, this can only mean that his body is strong and his blood is vigorous. It can't be the reason why he can block the time sword chi. There should be something we don't know. Shi Saint analyzed and said. Besides, if he can't restrain the time sword chi, the time sword chi in his body will constantly destroy his body's functions. However, not long after that, the massacre of the Tianfeng dynasty happened. This shows that the time sword chi has no effect on him. Ji Yuhao said again. This guy really can't be allowed to grow. As long as we see him, we must kill him if we have the chance. Shi Saint felt that Night Sorrow was a hidden danger. She couldn't let Night Sorrow continue to grow. After that, Shi Saint left the tent and went to find her subordinates to investigate Night Sorrow's situation. She didn't think much of it before, but after listening to Ji Yuhao's description, she felt that Night Sorrow was too big a threat. After arranging people to find out about Night Sorrow, Shi Saint called West Nether Region's West Taicang and Taiching Region's Qin Yuan to her tent. Her main purpose was to discuss how to get rid of Night Sorrow. This guy is a scourge. The fact that he can survive in the Supreme River space means that he has strong survivability. In addition, he has killed many venerables, which means that he has the strength to fight above his level. If we can't kill him, we must kill him even if we have to lose high-level venerables, Qin Yuan said. That's fine. I will send a high-level venerables to Qingtian region. You two will do the same. Send a venerables each to wait in Taiching City. When he comes out, attack him as soon as you see him. Even if we have to sacrifice 3 high-level venerables to kill him, we must kill him. Shi Saint's eyes were full of killing intent. That's right. Not only is he a threat, he's also the link between the Eastern Xian region, Empyrean Terminus Tower, and Night Moon Dynasty. We definitely can't let him rise. Otherwise, he'll become a potential threat to us. Western Taicang nodded in agreement with Silver Dusk Saint's opinion. After that, the three divided the work. Shi Saint sent people to watch the teleportation formation in Taiching region, West Taicang sent people to watch the Tianji Tower branch in Taiching region, and Qin Yuan sent people to hide outside the headquarters of Tianji Tower in Qingtian region. After the 3 of them reached an agreement, they all went to make arrangements. It was equivalent to arranging a sure kill situation for Night Sorrow. Chapter 710. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. On Night Sorrow's side, he drank tea with Wu Lingfei. After chatting for a while, he went to the Eastern Xian region's camp. He brought 2 jars of wine and drank with Long Xianxing before returning to his tent. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Xiong Night Sorrow practiced the basics for a night. When the sun rose, he held the space splitter spear and practiced his concept for a while. Then, he roasted the bird that Tianyu had caught. Tianyu still remembered that Night Sorrow liked to eat bird-type demon beasts, so when it could catch birds, it would definitely catch other demon beasts. Night Sorrow cooked up some bird barbecued meat. Yun Huang and Exquisite would definitely not let it go, and the 3 of them ate it. Captain, don't train too hard. Take it slow. Ling Long said. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Now that he was in the middle of his cultivation, he naturally wouldn't give up. After chatting with the 2 of them for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at the edge of the realm sea with the spear on his back. His figure flickered, and he entered the chaotic streams of space within the realm sea to begin cultivating. Yun Huang sighed. He's talented and hardworking. If we slack off, we won't be able to fight together in the future. We're not bad either. We just need to work hard. Even if we can't beat the captain, we can still beat the others, Exquisite said. After that, the two of them went back to cultivate. Yun Huang's cultivation was at the peak of level 1 martial saint, but he needed to stabilize his cultivation. Ling Long needed to stabilize her cultivation before eating the dragon spirit pill. After Night Sorrow entered the realm sea, he was like a fish in water, shuttling back and forth in the chaotic streams of space. While shuttling back and forth, Night Sorrow was still practicing his spear arts with the space-splitting spear. Night Sorrow was cultivating his compatibility with the space-splitter spear. He was nourishing it with his own energy and aura. When his true body could use it, his doppelganger could use it as well. Night Sorrow was able to persist in the turbulent space for longer and longer, mainly because of the increase in speed, coupled with the fact that his true chi cultivation was becoming more and more solid. Other people needed crystals to cultivate and strengthen their attributes, but Night Sorrow didn't need them. His heavenly fate jewel constantly released nothingness energy. Not only did it strengthen Night Sorrow's soul energy, but it also strengthened Night Sorrow's true energy. When he was tired from cultivating, Night Sorrow entered the space-time pagoda to recover. As he cultivated, Night Sorrow lost track of time. At the same time, he kept going deeper and deeper. The dead trees brought by Night Sorrow were destroyed even though they were close to the surface of the sea. They had been destroyed for quite some time. Now, every time Night Sorrow recovered, the space-time pagoda would float in the realm sea. Even so, it consumed a lot of energy. After recovering once again, Night Sorrow communicated with Shao Kong and asked about the situation of the space-time pagoda. After talking with Shao Kong, Night Sorrow found out that the space-time pagoda could withstand the turbulent space. However, Shao Kong needed spirit stones. In the past, Night Sorrow had invested 7,000 to 8,000 mid-grade spirit stones. At this rate, they should be able to last for 1 month. Then, I'll continue to give you spirit stones. Is that okay? Can you refine and consume them in proportion? Night Sorrow asked. As long as there are spirit stones, the turbulent space outside cannot damage the space-time pagoda. However, the amount of spirit stones consumed is proportional to the intensity of the turbulent space. In other words, the deeper you go, the more spirit stones you need to consume, Shao Kong said to Night Sorrow. We don't lack spirit stones. The main thing is not to harm you and the space-time pagoda's main body, Night Sorrow said. As long as there is a supply of energy, it will be fine. If it doesn't work, I can just utilize the power of time. The turbulent space cannot do anything to me, Shao Kong said. That's good. Let me store the spirit stones for you. Night Sorrow took out 300 high-grade spirit stones and threw them into the Sikong Pagoda for Shao Kong to store. These will be enough for a long time. Shao Kong put away the spirit stones. After dealing with the space-time pagoda, Night Sorrow began to meditate and recover. If the space-time pagoda was fine, he was safe. Then, Night Sorrow began to cultivate day and night. His cultivation base became more and more condensed, especially his bloodline talent and soul power. His cultivation base improved rapidly. As he went deeper into the turbulent space became more violent. However, Night Sorrow felt that the greater the pressure, the better. Only then could he continue to cultivate. If he could cultivate his movement technique in the realm sea, it would be faster and more flexible when he used it outside. As the pressure increased, Night Sorrow switched to a spear and began using the reincarnation spear to fight. As he executed his movement technique to slash, he executed his spear art to continuously bombard the spatial turbulence attacking him. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. After consuming a lot of energy, Night Sorrow entered the spacetime pagoda to recover. At this time, Wu Lingfei and Xie Longjun were standing where Wu Lingfei had taken Night Sorrow to see Clear Sky City. This little madman. When he comes out, we must teach him a lesson. Wu Lingfei's face was full of worry. Because Night Sorrow was already 100 miles deep into the turbulent space, Wu Lingfei and Xie Longjun could only see a shadow shuttling through the turbulent space. He's too strong. Even I can't go 100 miles deep. Xie Longjun sighed as she watched Night Sorrow, who was like an eagle striking the waves. He can't be thinking of approaching Clear Sky City, right? Wu Lingfei expressed her concern. She was afraid that Night Sorrow would do that. Xie Longjun looked carefully and shook her head. No, he's just engrossed in cultivation. He has no goal. Do we need to bring him back? Otherwise, it's too dangerous. Wu Lingfei said. Xie Longjun shook her head. That's not necessary. He's crazy, but he won't joke about his life. If he's fine for so long, there shouldn't be any problems. An eagle needs to spread its wings and soar into the sky. We can't tie his wings, Xie Longjun said. Night Sorrow kept shuttling through the turbulent space of the realm sea, brandishing his reincarnation spear to bombard the turbulent space that attacked him. When he couldn't hold on any longer, Night Sorrow entered the spacetime pagoda to rest and recover. Xie Longjun and Wu Lingfei only returned to the edge of the realm sea after watching Night Sorrow disappear. Although I know he's fine, I'm still worried. Wu Lingfei said. Well, it's not a big deal. Xie Longjun shook her head and smiled at Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow stayed in the same area and cultivated for a few days. Then, he continued to go deeper. He was looking for pressure. Night Sorrow, he's consuming a lot now. He consumes at least 10 upper-grade spirit stones a day. The spirit stones you gave me can last for a month. Shao Kong said to Night Sorrow. It's consuming a lot. Let's go back and rest for a while. Night Sorrow decided. I thought you were going to rush all the way to Clear Sky City. Although it's not very far, the turbulent space surrounding Clear Sky City is too terrifying. We can't do it. Shao Kong said. Chapter 711. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow returned to the edge of the realm sea and was greeted by Wu Lingfei's roar. Night Sorrow shrunk back in fright. He had never seen Wu Lingfei so angry before. Do you still dare to do this in the future? Wu Lingfei glared at Night Sorrow when she saw that Night Sorrow didn't say anything. I don't dare. Auntie Fei, I'm safe. First of all, I can handle it. Also, I have the pagoda to protect me. If I can't handle it, I can enter the pagoda to recover. But if Auntie Fei says no, then I won't go. Night Sorrow whispered. Safety is the most important thing. As long as you grow, you'll be invincible in the same realm. Invincible venerables can do it. Plus, you have the nihility origin. It won't be difficult for you to enter the sage realm. So, some risks aren't worth it. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said earnestly. I know. Night Sorrow nodded. Although he didn't think it was dangerous, he didn't want to refute Wu Lingfei's words. He would only do as she said. Let Auntie Fei think about this matter. Now, let's go back and make tea. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow let Tianyu out to catch demon beasts while he and Wu Lingfei returned to their tent. Night Sorrow, Auntie Fei doesn't want to nag you, but you really have to be careful. The spatial turbulence is no joke. What if the pagoda can't handle it? Wu Lingfei spoke of her worries. Over there, the pagoda needs me to provide spirit stones. As long as there are enough spirit stones, there won't be a problem. Although the consumption is a bit high, I can handle it. Night Sorrow explained the situation of the pagoda. As long as there are spirit stones, you can handle it. How many spirit stones do you need a day? Wu Lingfei asked while making tea. In the area I go the deepest, 10 high-grade spirit stones a day. Night Sorrow said. 10. You are such a wastrel. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei sighed and said. I can still withstand it. I've been to different spaces a few times, and I've accumulated a lot of high-grade spirit stones. I can withstand it after cultivating for a few years, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I can't communicate with someone like you who has a rich family. But since it's like this, you can go if you want. But there's one thing, you have to come back once every half a month. Knowing that the pagoda of time and space could hold, Wu Lingfei didn't insist that Night Sorrow couldn't enter the realm's sea to cultivate. Haha. Auntie Fei, you've agreed. Truth be told, my cultivation base has risen very quickly while cultivating inside. My soul power and bloodline talent have all improved by leaps and bounds. However, my body cultivation has reached a bottleneck, and I need to advance steadily. My true energy has also become much more condensed. Night Sorrow smiled as he explained his gains. Yes. Perhaps this path really suits you. Go barbecue. Let's drink some wine so you can relax. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei had been excited because she was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Now that she knew that Night Sorrow's safety wasn't a problem, she didn't insist. Night Sorrow roasted the antelope Tianyu had caught, took out a few jars of wine, and called Yunhuang and Ling Long over. B.Q. only T7 $1 positive W $edition V. It. K-he o all is. Pirated R and, Captain, I plan to eat a dragon spirit pill. What do you think? Ling Long asked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. If you feel that your primary energy is condensed and your foundation is solid, then go ahead and eat it. You know your own foundation, so you can control it in the future. After eating and drinking, Wu Lingfei wanted to see Night Sorrow's movement technique and Night Sorrow's progress. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Xiao Night Sorrow nodded. He activated his bloodline talent and activated his protective shield. He cut back and forth in front of the tent at an incredible speed. That's enough. Even a mid-level supremacy is only as fast as you. Your protective barrier is very sharp. Any cultivator who is hit by you will be severely injured. Our efforts during this period were not in vain. Seeing Night Sorrow's speed, Wu Lingfei nodded with satisfaction. She didn't want Night Sorrow to be arrogant. In fact, Night Sorrow's speed had already surpassed an intermediate supreme. Yunhuang and Exquisite were very shocked because Night Sorrow's speed was simply too terrifying. They could not compare to him at all. Just by relying on speed, Night Sorrow could completely crush the two of them. Before Wu Lingfei left, she told Night Sorrow to rest for a few days. Yunhuang and Exquisite chatted with Night Sorrow. They also wanted to cultivate like Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that Yunhuang and Exquisite could do it in the spatial turbulence in the outer region. This region was not attacked by the laws of the realm sea. Hearing Night Sorrow's agreement, Yunhuang and Exquisite were very happy and pulled Night Sorrow to drink. After drinking, Night Sorrow entered the tent to meditate and cultivate. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, several people were discussing something in the tent of Tianji Tower. There was True Sea Sage of the North Sea region, Southern Sage of the South Li region, and Flying Tiger Sage of the Unbounded Desolation region. I can confirm that Black Dragon Sage went to the island in the Sky Pillar region, Flying Tiger Sage said. There's West Blazing Sage Shi Taizong, Grand Yuan Sage Qin Yuan, Great Desolation Black Dragon Sage, and Silver Dusk Sage there. They still have no advantage against us, True Sea Sage said. They'll still think of ways to strengthen their team. They're not calm, but there's nothing we can do about it. Besides, with Chen Yuan's influence, the 7-star sage of the Sky Pillar region will probably go there as well. However, as soon as he shows any signs, I'll immediately kill him. Xiao Longyuan's eyes were filled with killing intent. Her temper was rising because Silver Dusk Sage did not care about the unity of the 9 realms. True Sea Sage nodded and said, their small team shouldn't be left alive. If they go too far, we'll start a war. Everlasting Sage, you can stop Silver Dusk Sage. I'll kill Western Taizong. Flying Tiger Sage also expressed his stance. Yes, Black Dragon Sage is on par with me. I can stop him. Nan Qianxing said, I don't care about Qin Yuan. Xiao Longjun thought for a moment and said, if they don't go too far, we'll bear with it. Master Wu Kei, Chief Kei, and Director Gua are all improving their strength. They'll be a great help. Besides, Yi Linghuan of the Night Moon Empire is not too far away from being born. What we need to become stronger is time. True Sea Sage said, that's true. Let's see if they've made any moves after the birth of Clear Sky City. If they do, don't give them any face. Xiao Longjun looked at Tai Shu Yen and asked, Deputy K Master Tai Shu, do you have any hope now? No, I might be able to enter the half-step saint realm, but it'll take a long time. Tai Shu Yen said. It's mainly because Long Xianxing is difficult to talk to. If he's willing to help us, Silver Dusk Sage and the others will have to behave themselves. True Sea Sage said helplessly. Chapter 7:12. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Wu Lingfei looked at Xiao Longjun and the others and smiled helplessly. I was chatting with Senior Long Xianxing about the Eastern Xian region and Night Sorrow. As for the situation of the 9 regions, Senior Long Xianxing didn't mention it at all. Love divided by go divided by little. Say www.aichux.com. This guy's bad temper is really worrying. I'll go see him tomorrow and see if I can persuade him. Xiao Longjun sighed. Long Xianxing was a veteran saint, and there was a precedent of him killing veteran saints. In fact, in the hearts of all the saints, Long Xianxing was the strongest, and the one who should not be provoked the most. If Long Xianxing stood on the side of the extreme heaven tower, then the Silver Dusk Saint would have to behave. After chatting for a while, everyone dispersed. Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's camp and watched Night Sorrow cultivate. She also meditated in Night Sorrow's tent. Love go little. Say W. Chu. Since obtaining Dongshuan's origin, Wu Lingfei's cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. It could be said that there were no obstacles or bottlenecks. This was the benefit of the origin power's recognition. Now she was worried about Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei treated Night Sorrow as her family and also regarded Night Sorrow as the future pillar of the Eastern Xian region. She didn't want to see anything happen to Night Sorrow. After cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow was stunned when he woke up. He didn't know when Wu Lingfei had come. It wasn't that Night Sorrow's vigilance was low, but that Wu Lingfei had used the power of law to control her aura and energy to not leak out. In addition, she didn't have any hostility. I just came to see you. Your cultivation state is good. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Don't worry, Aunt Fei. I will be obedient and rest well for a few days. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then let's go out and take a look at the Eastern Xian region, said Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow nodded his head. He also planned to take a look at the Eastern Xian region's camp. Listening to Long Xuanqing's words would allow him to gain a lot of experience. Soon after, the two of them arrived at the eastern Xian region. At this time, there were more people in the eastern Xian region. Qi Nan and a few of the Bloodstrike Guard commanders had also arrived. Knight Sorrow arrived in front of Long Xuanqing's tent and took out a small tea table to make tea. At this time, Long Xuanqing also came out of the tent and sat down on a praying mat, waiting for Knight Sorrow to make tea. Your condition is not bad, and your true qi is also very condensed. It seems that you are working very hard. Long Xuanqing said. Senior, you don't know this, but he's been cultivating in the realm C recently. He's gone 100 miles into spatial turbulence, said Wu Lingfei. You rascal, there's a limit to everything. Don't force yourself. Long Xuanqing said to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow nodded. Thank you for your reminder, Senior. Knight Sorrow will know when to stop. By the way, what kind of scripture are you cultivating? The few forces in the eastern Xian region don't seem to have any high-level scriptures. Long Xuanqing looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. The Sacred Cauldron Scripture. It's the Sacred Cauldron Scripture of the Medicine Valley. It can be cultivated to the 7th Order Sage realm. Knight Sorrow said. That's still not high enough. Let me do some research and get you a suitable scripture. Long Xuanqing said. Faster Eon 5C, there are scriptures for cultivation above the 7th order. Knight Sorrow asked curiously. Of course there are. Demonic beasts and spirit beasts have their own inheritances. The level of their cultivation depends on the level of their cultivation. Also, only a very ancient clan would have such an inheritance. Ordinary forces and clans don't have it. Long Xuanqing said. Is this appropriate? Knight Sorrow didn't want to take out a clone cultivation technique with Wu Lingfei to resist the punishment. There's nothing inappropriate about it. I've killed saints in the past, and I have their scriptures. I'll take a look at it later and see which one suits you. Long Xuanqing said. Just as they were talking, Xia Longjun arrived. When she arrived in front of Long Xuanqing, Xia Longjun cupped her hands. Wuji Saint is too polite. Sit down and drink some tea. Long Xuanqing nodded at Xia Longjun. After greeting each other, Long Xuanqing continued to talk with Knight Sorrow, sharing some of his insights. Senior Long Xuanqing, I have something to talk to you about. Xia Longjun said. I know what you want to say. I also know that it's not easy for you. You've always wanted to maintain the balance of the 9 regions, but some people just don't live up to your expectations. What can you do about it? You can either kill them. Long Xuanqing looked at Xia Longjun and said. If we kill them directly, the strength of the 9 regions will be damaged. It won't be easy to deal with the calamity in the future. Xia Longjun said helplessly. You still expect those people to contribute to the 9 regions. Why can't you see through it? Long Xuanqing looked at Xia Longjun and said. Senior is right. There's something wrong with my thinking. They have formed a circle now, and it's not easy to deal with them. Xia Longjun said. I didn't want to get involved in this matter. But since you're here, I won't embarrass you. Inform me when there's a battle. I'll deal with those from the West Nether region. Long Xuanqing said. Thank you, Senior Long Xuanqing. It'll be much easier for us to deal with West Taicang. Xia Longjun said. I'm not interested in that small fry. I can kill him with a slap. I'm talking about West Nether region's heavenly underworld saint. If he makes a move, all of you together won't be able to do anything. Long Xuanqing said. Heavenly Underworld Saint. Xia Longjun was a little surprised. She had never heard of this name before. That guy hides very well. It's normal that you don't know him. He was defeated by Yi Tian and then went into hiding. He's very strong. Don't worry about this. I'll deal with those from the West Nether region. Take this communication crystal. If I'm not here, send me a message. Do you still want to drink tea? If you don't want to drink tea, you can go back. Just looking at you makes me feel conflicted. Long Xianqing glared at Xie Longjun. Drink tea. I'm here to drink tea. Xie Longjun quickly said. After drinking tea, Xie Longjun left. She had achieved her goal, but she didn't expect that another expert would be involved. The water is deep. Heavenly Underworld Saint and I are not from the same era as her. Of course, she doesn't know. Long Xianqing said as he watched Xie Longjun leave. If Senior is willing to step forward, she will feel more at ease. Wu Lingfei said. The tree wants to be quiet, but the wind won't stop. I didn't want to get involved in this matter. I just want the East Nether region to be peaceful. But now, I have no choice. I can't just watch a woman take the lead and be a coward. I'm from the Black Tortoise race, but I won't shrink back. Long Xianqing said. It's Junior's fault. I've dragged Senior down. Wu Lingfei said apologetically. Chapter 713. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that Long Xuanqing's attitude towards the world had changed. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Calm, kid, is there something you don't understand? Long Xianqing asked when he saw Night Sorrow pondering with his head lowered. I understand the world of chaos, but what do you mean by the world of great strife? Night Sorrow asked. In the past, I pursued in action, protecting the eastern Xian region's pure land, earning some merit and obtaining luck. However, when the world is in chaos, it means that the opportunity has come. Who can rise and who can obtain the opportunity will depend on the individual's ability. This is the world of great competition. Long Xianqing explained to Yi Shang. Then this junior understands. Yi Shang nodded. Fight hard. If there's an opportunity, take it. Our Eastern Xian region has several generations of people here. If the Eastern Xian region wants to rise, let's fight together. Kill whoever blocks the way, said Long Xianqing. All right. Kill whoever blocks the way. Night Sorrow nodded. After staying for a while, Night Sorrow left the Eastern Xian region's camp and returned to his camp. Yun Huang and Ling Long weren't there. Night Sorrow knew that the two of them had gone to the edge of the realm's sea to cultivate. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to continue cultivating in the realm's sea and return to Sky City later. In any case, the Night Moon dynasty was in a stable state. No one would be bold enough to attack the Night Moon dynasty or Sky City. Night Sorrow got up and walked towards the realm's sea. He didn't know that his decision had temporarily prevented a massacre. When he arrived at the edge of the realm's sea, Night Sorrow saw Yun Huang and Ling Long cultivating in the realm's sea, fighting against the spatial turbulence. The spatial turbulence was terrifying, but the two of them were at the periphery, so the pressure was not that great. If they were to cultivate like Night Sorrow, they might be instantly killed. After bidding farewell to Yun Huang and Ling Long, Night Sorrow cast a spatial energy shield and headed into the realm's sea. Captain's speed and ability are too abnormal, Yun Huang exclaimed as he watched Night Sorrow enter the spatial turbulence. That's because he has a space-type protective energy shield. Plus, his combat power is very strong. We can't compare to him. Ling Long's mind was very calm. Ling Long was a celestial terminus emissary of Tianji Tower. Her attribute was fire, and it was the ultimate attribute of the fire attribute. Like Yun Huang, she was also the ultimate attribute of the common attribute. This was why they were able to become celestial terminus emissaries. Those who could become celestial extremity envoys all had outstanding talent. It was very difficult for those with ordinary attributes to stand out. Yun Huang, I'm going to eat some elixirs and cultivate later. Leave your mount behind to guard me, Ling Long shouted to Yun Huang while fighting in the spatial turbulence. Okay, but take it easy. You don't lack time. It's better to have a stable foundation. I'll wait for you, Yun Huang reminded Ling Long. He was genuinely worried. IG look at the CW chapter of the OS version. Section 3 on T%L, thank you. No need to wait. I'll catch up, Ling Long replied. Night Sorrow went deeper into the realm sea. After 100 miles, he began to cut back and forth in the spatial turbulence. At the same time, he brandished the space splitter spear and fought against the spatial turbulence. Without pressure, Night Sorrow was unwilling to use the reincarnation spear. Improving the compatibility of the space splitter spear was something that had to be done. However, as Night Sorrow nourished himself day and night, the space splitter spear was now somewhat compatible with him. The power of the space splitter spear was also much stronger than before. When he was happy from fighting, Night Sorrow would roar a few times. Recently, he had been very carefree because some of his troubles had been resolved. Now, he could focus on cultivating in peace. In the eastern Xian region's Medicine Valley, Guan Yu was talking to Yu Yangyu in the Pill Cauldron Great Hall. Master, I really want to go out and explore. Don't men live to fight? 13th junior brother, 9th senior sister, and 6th senior sister are all fighting very well. I can't let go of my hands and feet just because I died once, said Guan Yi. Little Yi, it's not suitable for you to go to 13th's team. Your 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister are 13th's fiancés, so it's not inconvenient for him to command the team. However, you can't. You're the senior brother. Yu Yangyu voiced his worries. Master, actually, some things aren't that complicated. You're the sect master. Those martial uncles and elders also listen to your orders. I'm not going to be a senior brother in 13th's team. I'm just going to be an ordinary member. Guan Ye's attitude was very firm. He just wanted to fight in the outside world. He had recently entered the 5th order, and with his high attributes, his combat strength was very strong. Master, why don't you let 12th junior brother go? You can just tell 13th junior brother. Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning are also doing very well in that team. The last time I came back, I saw that their cultivation had improved a lot. Moreover, they're very solid. They're real men now. Gong Xian said. All right then. I don't know where to find him. However, I'll go to Tianji Tower and ask. I should be able to find out. Then, let's go. Yu Yangyu thought for a moment and felt that this was the path Guan Yi had chosen. There was no need to stop him. The rest was up to Night Sorrow. After informing Gong Xian, Yu Yangyu led Guan Yi to the teleportation array in Danding Square. Now that Yu Yangyu had left the Medicine Valley, he was relieved. This was because the Medicine Valley didn't only have 2 venerables, but 3. The Great Elder had also successfully entered the Venerable Realm a few days ago. After arriving at Danding City, Yu Yangyu first went to the Tianji Tower branch to ask about Night Sorrow's situation. Enforcer Dong bowed to Yu Yangyu. Valley Master Lu, I don't know about this matter. The matter of the young master is confidential. However, you should go to the Tianji Tower branch in Dongxian City and ask. There should be some news. Young master. Enforcer Dong, are you saying that Night Sorrow is now the young master of Tianji Tower? Yu Yangyu asked in surprise. Yes. Valley Master Lu, don't you know? Some time ago, the headquarters sent an order that all the branches in the 9 zones and 18 states, even the branch masters, must listen to the young master's orders. However, it was only an order. I don't know the details, Enforcer Dong said. Well, I won't disturb you any longer. Yu Yangyu left the Tianji Tower branch with Guan Yi. This guy, I haven't seen him for a while, but he actually became the young master of Tianji Tower, the #1 force in the 9 zones. He didn't even tell the sect about this, Yu Yangyu muttered in a low voice. 13th junior brother isn't a showy person. He doesn't care about this. If he did, he would stay in the Medicine Valley and be the deputy valley master, Guan Yi said with a smile. That's true. Your 13th junior brother has a good state of mind. It's hard for external things to affect him, Yu Yangyu said with a smile. Master, some time ago, eldest senior brother asked me to go to Bamboo Garden City to check on 13th junior brother's situation. That guy is really unreliable. He often talks about 13th junior brother. The Bamboo Garden City's city lord also doesn't know what's going on. He respects 13th junior brother, so he put that guy in an important position. Now, that guy is the deputy manager of the city lord mansion, Guan Yi said. Chapter 7:14. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's true. 13th junior brother is hard to deal with, but 9th senior sister can. However, with 9th senior sister's temper, that guy is in for a bad time, Guan Yi said with a smile. Yes, your 9th senior sister is good at managing the household. She and your 6th senior sister are polar opposites. With them by your 13th junior brother's side, he will have less to worry about. Now, let's go to Dongxian City's Tianji Tower and ask around. Yu Yangyu said. Yu Yangyu and Guan Yi arrived at Dongxian City's Tianji Tower branch. Yin Shui personally received them and told Yu Yangyu about the current situation. That means Night Sorrow might not be in Sky City right now. Yu Yangyu asked with a frown. %/only CX positive version V, I and others, is stolen F version 3G, even if the young master isn't here, Guardian Yang Lei and Guardian Sikong should be. It's the same if you go there, Yin Shui said with a smile. Then let's go there and take a look. Even if he couldn't see Night Sorrow, Yu Yangyu wanted to see if Aoi and Yang Lei were doing well. Yin Shui decided to personally send Yu Yangyu and Guan Yi over. After they arrived at Qingtian City Celestial Peak Pavilion and asked around, Lan Yushuan personally sent Yu Yangyu and Guan Yi to Sky City. Aoi and Yang Lei were very happy to see each other. Yang Lei personally prepared the food and wine, but Lan Yushuan had left. Now that the higher-ups of Tianji Tower weren't around, she had a lot of things to do. While eating, Yu Yangyu told them why he brought Guan Yi along. Guan Yi also stood up and said that he was here to train himself. In the team, he was Guan Yi, not Night Sorrow's senior brother. However, the only person who can make decisions in the God-slaying squad is 13. We don't have the authority to do anything. Let's wait for 13 to return first, Yang Lei said. I understand. Guan Yi nodded. He understood the situation of the God-slaying team. After eating and drinking tea, Guan Yi talked about Chen Chen's matter. After hearing Guan Yi's words, Yang Lei's face turned cold. That bastard, he really went this far. I'll go back and deal with it later. The human heart is hard to fathom. However, we still have to inform Father Gu about this matter, said Sikong Chuyu. Then we'll go back tomorrow. Yang Lei wouldn't tolerate anyone using Night Sorrow's name to mess around. After sending Yu Yangyu back, Yang Lei followed him to Danding City. Yu Yangyu and Yang Lei met Papa Gu and told him about it. Love go little say Ku, he's really disappointing. He's going down a path we don't want to see. Yang Lei, you go and deal with it. No matter how you deal with it, it won't be too much. He only interacted with Night Sorrow because of me. Night Sorrow's name isn't something he can use, Papa Gu sighed and said, I won't do anything to him, but he can no longer hold any management position in the cities in the Medicine Valley area, Yang Lei said. Alright, we're already being extremely benevolent by not pursuing the matter. Papa Gu nodded. After that, Papa Gu also expressed that he didn't want to see Chin Chin again and asked Yang Lei to deal with it as she saw fit. After that, Yu and Yang Lei went to Zhuyuan City together. When they saw Yu and Yang Lei, the governor of Zhuyuan City and a disciple of the North Pole Peak, Zhangling, led his people to bow to them. Yang Lei stood up and looked at Chin Chin, who was wearing a brocade robe, and said, Chin Chin, if you relied on your own ability to become a deacon or a manager, that's your own ability. But relying on the name Night Sorrow won't do. From today onward, you're not allowed to hold any management position in any city in the Medicine Valley area. Why, am I not doing well enough now? Is this Night Sorrow's idea? Chin Chen's expression changed. Night Sorrow doesn't have time to care about these things and he doesn't know about this. I don't know if you're doing well, but you didn't get to this position by relying on your own ability, but by relying on the reputation of others, Yang Lei said. I'm not convinced. Chin Chen said coldly. I don't care if you're convinced or not. Zhangling, in the Zhuyuan City area, no one is allowed to use Night Sorrow's name to do things. Take care of whoever you see. Yang Lei looked at Zhangling, this is my dereliction of duty. Zhangling bowed and said, Master, then this disciple will take her leave. Without even looking at Chin Chin, Yang Lei bowed to Yu. Go. I'll inform all the cities under the jurisdiction of the Medicine Valley of this matter. Yu nodded. After hearing Yu's words, Chin Chen's expression turned even uglier because this meant that he would be completely banned. It's your own mentality that's flawed. Back then, Night Sorrow prepared resources for you and even prepared a rank 4 mount for you, but you chose this path yourself. From now on, we're strangers. After glancing at Chin Chin, Yang Lei left Zhuyuan City. On Yu's side, accompanied by Zhangling, walked around Zhuyuan City. As for Chin Chin, no one paid any attention to him. Yang Lei wanted to talk to Papa Gu about the situation and then return to Sky City. Temperament determines success. No one can do anything about him like this, but don't tell 13 about this. It's meaningless, Aoi said. Then, Aoi and the other 2 girls took Guanyi to the training field of the god-slaying squad. They introduced Guanyi to Ho Jian and Xueling and explained the situation. 6th senior sister, you know that only the captain can make the decision to recruit people, but there's no problem with everyone cultivating together, Ho Jian said. Then, Guanyi stayed behind to cultivate with everyone. Night Sorrow cultivated in the Realm Sea every day, but after going 100 miles deep, Night Sorrow stopped because this place was just right for him to train. Usually, Night Sorrow used the Void Splitter Spear and only used the Reincarnation Spear when the pressure was particularly high. In addition, Night Sorrow also found that the energy surrounding Haotian City did not dissipate. Night Sorrow also noticed that the energy was not naturally wrapped, but seemed to be operated by a formation. The fact that the energy did not dissipate was a good thing for Night Sorrow because he could continue to cultivate without losing the training of the space turbulence due to environmental damage. As for consumption, Night Sorrow did not mind. Recently, he had been sorting out the resources in the storage ring. Some mid-grade spirit stones and low-quality top-grade spirit stones were given to Shao Kong. Shao Kong also liked this situation. This was also a training process for her. On this day, while Night Sorrow was shuttling back and forth in the space turbulence of the Realm Sea, he found something unexpected. He found that there was a figure in the space storm about a dozen miles ahead. This made Yi Shang very shocked, because he hadn't seen anyone enter, but now there were people inside. Night Sorrow shuttled back and forth in the space turbulence while observing the situation of the figure. As he observed, Night Sorrow found that the figure was spinning in the space storm and was not moving on its own. Night Sorrow, that's a corpse. There's no soul fluctuation. Shao Kong communicated with Night Sorrow. A corpse. It's not annihilated or torn apart in the space turbulence. What's going on? Night Sorrow was very shocked because he could not understand what was going on. Get close to it and get it out, Shao Kong said. The 5th update has arrived. Who cares about a sister? Also, after I posted an announcement to stop updating, some brothers and sisters gave me some tips. Today, it's even more of a return. Chapter 7:15. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. No, that area is very dangerous. It's very difficult for us to get close. Love go little say, Chu. Night Sorrow observed for a while and said. Night Sorrow could travel through the spatial storm, but it also depended on the intensity of the spatial storm. If it was too strong, he could not get close. The spatial protective chi shield could be cut, but it couldn't do so in places with high density. Where the corpse was, the spatial storm was filled with black and red energy, which was destructive energy. The void protective chi shield could withstand it, but it would consume a lot of energy. Something that can survive in that spatial storm is definitely not simple. If we have the chance, we have to get it and study it, said Shao Kong. Night Sorrow also understood this, so he kept his eyes on the corpse as he traveled through the spatial turbulence. If he had the chance, he would get closer. The corpse also drifted toward the periphery of the spatial storm. Night Sorrow was also trying his best to get closer. As he got closer, Night Sorrow saw that the corpse was not a normal human. It was 3.5 feet tall and had 2 hideous curved horns. Yi Shang could see that it was an incomplete demon beast. He knew that it wasn't a human corpse. Night Sorrow kept getting closer. When he could not take it anymore, he entered the space-time pagoda to recover and let Shao Kong pay attention. At this time, Night Sorrow did not care about the consumption and directly gave Shao Kong 100 high-grade spirit stones. Love go little say, Chu. After recovering, Night Sorrow continued to approach the corpse. With Night Sorrow's efforts and the spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow and the corpse were getting closer and closer. What's going on? Night Sorrow found that there was a lot of hair on the surface of the corpse. When the energy cut the hair, it was shaken away. Shao Kong could not answer Night Sorrow's question because she did not know either. This area was very dangerous. Night Sorrow was very cautious. He did not want to be swept into a place with violent spatial turbulence, even if he had Shao Kong. The spatial turbulence around Night Sorrow had reached a terrifying level, and the entire realm sea was filled with roiling energy. Night Sorrow continued to use his body technique to slash, and the reincarnation spear also continued to attack, blasting away the spatial turbulence that was attacking him. The corpse floated outside, getting closer and closer to Night Sorrow. When there was still about 1 li left, Night Sorrow discovered that something was wrong. The spatial turbulence had changed direction, and the corpse was about to be sucked back. This situation made Night Sorrow anxious. If the corpse was sucked back, then all his efforts would have been for nothing, and all his efforts would have been for naught. With a low roar, Night Sorrow unleashed a spatial rend. His body followed behind the spatial rend as he rushed towards the corpse. After unleashing 2 spatial rends, Night Sorrow was still a few dozen feet away from the corpse. Night Sorrow exhaled and poured the energy of the Myriad Tao Tome into his left hand. Using the energy of the Myriad Tao Tome, he wrapped the sky-piercing spear with the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon and flew out. He wrapped the sky-piercing spear around the corpse's leg and pulled it back fiercely. Night Sorrow was afraid that the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon would be destroyed by the spatial turbulence, so he wrapped it with energy. As Night Sorrow's arm shook, the corpse was pulled to his side by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow wanted to put the corpse into his storage ring, but after testing, he found that he could not do so. Night Sorrow's expression changed. He grabbed the corpse's horn with his left hand and cut through the spatial turbulence, rushing out. This place was extremely dangerous. One careless mistake and he would be torn apart by the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow tried several times while carrying the tall corpse, but he could not put it into his storage ring. "Let me try." At this time, Shao Kong, who was in Night Sorrow's sleeve, roared. Following that, the space-time pagoda's body suddenly enlarged. The bottom layer opened and a spatial vortex appeared, pulling the corpse into it. Night Sorrow cut back and forth, avoiding the spatial turbulence. He saw that Shao Kong was struggling to pull the corpse, but after a few breaths of time, Shao Kong still managed to pull the corpse into the space-time pagoda. At this time, Night Sorrow grabbed the Sikong pagoda and continued to rush out. After rushing out for a distance, he entered the space-time pagoda to rest. "You can do it. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to carry it out. When I want to recover, I don't even know what to do with it." Night Sorrow took out a wine jar and drank a mouthful. $N forever equals free to read novels for a long time. Just now, I used 20 high-grade spirit stones. My body became bigger and was washed by the spatial turbulence. "I can't take it anymore," Shao Kong said. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow continued to rush out. This was still a dangerous area. Night Sorrow didn't want to stay here any longer. After 4 hours, Night Sorrow rushed out of the spatial turbulence and arrived at a safe area. Looking back at the black and red spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. He finally rushed out. His body was covered in sweat. The main reason was that he was too nervous. If he wasn't careful, he could have died in there. Flying back to the border of the realm sea, Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and Ling Long who were still cultivating. Night Sorrow then returned to his tent. Just as he sat down and drank a mouthful of water, Wu Lingfei came over. "Why are you sweating?" Seeing the sweat on Night Sorrow's face, Wu Lingfei was shocked. Night Sorrow was a venerable. It was very strange for him to sweat. "Aunt Fei, I encountered something today." Night Sorrow waved his arm and brought the corpse into the tent. "What is this?" Wu Lingfei's face was full of shock. Then, Yi Shang explained the situation he had encountered, from beginning to end, in detail. "You're really bold. You dare to touch anything." After speaking, Wu Lingfei squatted down and began to study the tall corpse. As she observed, Wu Lingfei's face changed. "It's an ancient mutated beast, golden growler. It's above the saint level. Its fur is not corroded by any energy. Its spirit sea is empty, but there's still a very strong energy in its body. Its heart is still beating, but it's not obvious," Wu Lingfei said. "It was swept here by a spatial storm from Clear Sky City. In other words, it's related to the disappearance of Clear Sky City. It's from the same era." Night Sorrow's face was full of shock. "It's possible. It doesn't have the aura of Nine Realms world. It shouldn't be a life form of Nine Realms world. It's dangerous. We can't give it a chance to recover." After speaking, Wu Lingfei waved her arm and a white palm print entered the tall corpse. Night Sorrow also knew that this was an unstable factor, but he didn't expect this guy to be so strong. "Sit down. Let's talk slowly. Golden Growler is a time attribute beast. It has never appeared in our Nine Realms world, so the origin of this corpse is worth thinking about. And, he also has a storage ring." Wu Lingfei reached out and took the storage ring from Golden Growler's left hand, then threw it to Night Sorrow. Then Night Sorrow opened the storage ring and took out all the resources inside. However, there were many things that Night Sorrow didn't recognize. Saint Crystal. This guy actually has Saint Crystal. It seems that things are really complicated. Wu Lingfei picked up a crystal and said, Saint Crystal Core. It doesn't look like it. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 7:16. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. There is such a spirit stone. Why haven't I heard of it? Night Sorrow asked. Love go little say Webku, because our 9 zones world doesn't have high-grade minds, Wu Lingfei said to Yishan. Unless the space and the world are very mature and old, they can't have such minds. This golden growler must have something to do with the ancient investiture of the gods. Take the Holy Spirit Stone. Yishang nodded and put away the 7 to 8 Saint Spirit Stones. Following this, Wu Lingfei continued to organize the resources that Yishan had taken out from his spatial ring. There were 100 top-grade spirit stones and a few elemental crystals. However, there weren't many, there were only a few lightning and wind elemental crystals. Why are you putting them there? Keep them, huh? There are also desolate stones like these. They will be very useful for you, Wu Lingfei said as she picked up a yellow speckled crystal. Aren't desolate stones only found in the desolate sea? How could he have them? Night Sorrow could not understand. The desolate sea is not only in the 9-domain world, but also in other worlds and spaces. This golden growler is a time attribute beast, so it is reasonable for it to have desolate stones. These 4 desolate stones are of high quality. Take them and use them. They can probably increase your power of desolates by a lot. How is your power of desolates now? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow told her about the fusion of his power of desolates and body refining energy. You took a little risk, but since you succeeded, there is nothing to say. This guy has a lot of refining materials. It seems that your luck is very good. Also, it is hard to estimate the situation in Haoyan City. It should be a battlefield, Wu Lingfei said as she looked at the golden growler's body. I can't keep this guy in the storage ring. Night Sorrow nodded. He also realized that things were not simple. There are some things that I don't mind telling you. Saints aren't the focus of cultivators. When you cultivate to the extreme, you can achieve immortality. This guy's body is immortal, but his life force has been frozen by Auntie Fei, Wu Lingfei said. What should we do with the corpse? Night Sorrow asked. He was worried about this problem. It has to be destroyed. His divine sea is empty, which means that his soul is not here. If his soul is not destroyed, like the dark spirit saint, then his soul can find a body and be reborn. So, we can't keep this corpse. Wu Lingfei said. That's not right. If his soul isn't destroyed, I can't open his storage ring. Love go little say Kunite Sorrow said. That's not an absolute assumption. If his soul was severely injured, the soul imprint on the storage ring would naturally dissipate. If his soul recovered and he couldn't find his body, the storage ring wouldn't be imprinted again. You can still open it, said Wu Lingfei. I see. Auntie Fei, you can deal with the corpse as you see fit. I have no objections. Night Sorrow nodded. Let's do it this way. Auntie Fei will take this corpse and show it to Senior Long Xianxing. If it's destroyed, Auntie Fei will give you the materials on his body. Wu Lingfei said. Okay, Auntie Fei, deal with it as you see fit. Night Sorrow nodded. Soon after, Wu Lingfei left with the corpse. Yishan was making tea. He also needed to relax a bit. This time, he had been really nervous. They had entered the depths of spatial turbulence. If they weren't careful, they could have died. Night Sorrow had the space-time pagoda to protect him, but it could only be used in the cracks of the space turbulence. Once he was sucked in, he would be surrounded by the destructive energy. He couldn't enter the space-time pagoda even if he wanted to. It was normal for him to be destroyed. The space turbulence was the manifestation of the heavenly Tao. It was very difficult to resist. While Night Sorrow was drinking tea, Yun Huang and Ling Long returned. "Captain, your cultivation base is very condensed. Are you going to break through?" Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. He could see the depth of Night Sorrow's cultivation base. "It's condensed enough, but it's not controllable enough. I still need to cultivate. You have to pay attention to this. Condensing one's true qi is one of the aspects of a solid foundation. You can't ignore the degree of control. You have to know that it involves the speed of true qi circulation, explosive power, and so on." Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said, "I know. But no matter how solid it is, it's much faster than natural cultivation." Yun Huang smiled. "Okay, I don't care. I'm going to continue cultivating in the realm C." Ling Long said, "Safety. Safety first." Night Sorrow looked at Ling Long and said. He had the space-time pagoda to protect him, but Yun Huang and Ling Long didn't. "Captain, don't worry. We won't do anything rash." Yun Huang nodded. After the three of them drank some tea, Yun Huang and Ling Long left. They had their own tents. Night Sorrow also sat down to cultivate. But it was just a normal cultivation. He had originally planned to absorb the power of desolates to cultivate. But now that his myriad Tao treasured tome was at level 9 Tao querying realm, if he cultivated too quickly, it would have the disadvantage of an unstable foundation. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Long Xianxing and Wu Lingfei were studying the corpse. It's an ancient beast, the golden growler. And its cultivation base is very high. Because of the special characteristics of its body, it wasn't destroyed by the turbulence of space. If this fella's soul isn't destroyed, it's possible for its soul to return to its body. So, we can't give it a chance to live. Let me destroy it. Long Xianxing nodded to Wu Lingfei. After that, Long Xianxing opened and closed his hands, and a yellow space with a diameter of 10 feet appeared. Then, the corpse of the golden growler was sucked into the space. After that, the space began to distort, and the corpse of the golden growler was torn apart. After that, the space continued to distort, and the corpse of the golden growler was completely crushed. Then, flames appeared in the space and burned the corpse. Wu Lingfei was shocked. Because Long Xuanqing's first move was a fusion of several attributes. The chaotic space was a fusion of the earth, space, and wind attributes, and also the fire attribute. There are still 2 horns that haven't been destroyed. But it doesn't matter. Long Xianxing waved his hand, took out the 2 horns, and handed them to Wu Lingfei. At the same time, he kept his chaotic space. What they didn't know was that at this time, in a special space, a man in a golden robe was shouting, Who destroyed this king's body? If this king finds out, he will definitely turn you into ashes." After shouting for a while, the man in the golden robe calmed down. "Jinyu, what's going on?" A black-clothed man appeared in front of the golden-robed man. "Bo Qing, this king's body has been destroyed. There is no connection with him now." The golden-robed man, Jinyu, said. "WC is the only genuine copy of Asterisk, it's R and he was O. Robbery. Edition 1 inch. Could it be that there's another expert in the 9-domain world? Otherwise, Brother Jinyu's body wouldn't have been destroyed so easily," said the man called Bo Qing by Jinyu. "That's hard to say. This king will definitely not let this matter rest. Since he can't return to his physical body, he'll have to think of some other way to reconstruct his physical body." Jinyu replied coldly. "Yes, this must be done. After we recover, we have to go back. We've really had enough of this damned place. Bo Qing said irritably. But we didn't complete the mission. If we go back, we'll be in big trouble. A hint of fear appeared on Jin Yu's face. Chapter 717. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Jin Yu did not speak anymore and continued to meditate. Bo Qing also got up and left the area. Baidu search love go divided by Shao Shua www.aiqx. Come in the 9 domains world. After Long Xianqing threw the horn to Wu Lingfei, he sighed and shook his head. You guessed it right. The soul of the owner of this body is not destroyed. Just now, this seat felt that the destroyed body had a connection with the outside world. At the same time, I also felt that there was karma attached to me. This seat is hated by someone. Is that so? Wu Lingfei asked in surprise. Yes, this world is really chaotic. We only saw the body of a golden growler. What about the rest? This is just a little bit of the surface of the water. There will be great horror in the future. Long Xianqing said. Baidu search love go divided by Shao Shua www.aiqx. Calm, what should we do? Wu Lingfei also had a headache because the situation was very difficult to control. Domain Lord, you have to speed up the refining of Dongshuan's origin. Then, even if the world is in chaos, Dongxian region may still be a pure land. Long Xianqing said to Wu Lingfei. Yes, I will work hard. Wu Lingfei nodded. At this moment, Xia Longjun and Nan Qianxing came over with a young man. Seeing this young man, Long Xianqing narrowed his eyes and Wu Lingfei also had a strange feeling. He is? Wu Lingfei asked. He's a cultivator from the South Parting region. I'm sure you've already sensed it. You're right, he has the South Parting source in his body. I hope you two can keep this a secret. Nan Ganxing nodded to Long Xianqing and Wu Lingfei. 300 years ago, didn't Nanli region's origin recognize him as its master? How old is he? Wu Lingfei asked in surprise. This junior is Liang Yu. 300 years ago, it was my ancestor. Although my ancestor obtained Nanli's origin, he could not refine it. Then, he passed it to this junior. The burly young man said. So that's the case. Then, can you refine it? Long Xianqing asked. He's a little strange. When he was born, the South Parting sect source energy had already separated from his ancestor and entered his body. After nurturing it for over 20 years, he has already refined it. Even though he's only at the peak void inquiry stage, he has the strength of an early venerable realm expert. I brought him here because I feel that the South Parting sect isn't safe either. Thus, I plan to send him to the God-slaying squad. Nan Qianxing said. Nan Ganxing, I can't make the decision on this matter. Besides, the God-slaying team is a team from the Eastern Xian region. How can we let the future ruler of the Southernly region in? Wu Lingfei asked. VZ Yong, D long exempt N phi square root CB small o say, our two regions are considered to be in an alliance. I will be at ease if we throw him into the God-slaying team, Nan Ganxing said. Senior Long Xianqing, what do you think? Wu Lingfei looked at Long Xianqing and asked. I don't have any opinion on this matter. However, it still depends on Knight Sorrow's opinion. Long Xianqing said. Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that the main problem was still Knight Sorrow. If Knight Sorrow was unwilling, no one could do anything about it. Then let's go to Knight Sorrow's place and have a look. It's not easy to talk to Knight Sorrow when it comes to principles. Xia Longjun said. Xia Longjun, Nan Ganxing, and Wu Lingfei brought Liang Yu to Night Sorrow's tent. When they arrived, Night Sorrow also came out of his tent. After greeting them, he took out a tea table and began to make tea. Night Sorrow, let me introduce you. This is Liang Yu from the South Parting sect. In the future, you two will be brothers who will fight side by side. Xie Lanjun said. I am Liang Yu. Liang Yu extended his fist towards Night Sorrow. I am Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also extended his fist and bumped it with Liang Yu's. Alright, Night Sorrow, the South Parting sect and our Eastern Xian sect are allies. Therefore, Liang Yu wants to join your god-slaying sect. Wu Lingfei directly pointed out the root of the problem. I can't answer this question directly. First of all, we have 30 to 40 brothers. I have to be responsible for them. Therefore, I'm sorry. Night Sorrow looked at Liang Yu. Liang Yu had a strong body and a gentle face. At this moment, he was also looking at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. He was a proud person. Now that Night Sorrow didn't accept him, he was a little angry. Night Sorrow, there is no problem with Liang Yu's character. He is also strong enough to fight against venerables. Besides, now that we are working together, we have to be open to each other. Liang Yu, Night Sorrow is responsible for the members of the God-slaying sect. You should know that the God-slaying sect has fought many times and killed many major forces without losing a single member. You know what this means, Xie Lanjun said. Night Sorrow, make the arrangements. Liang Yu is very important to the South Parting sect. Wu Lingfei said. Then cultivate with me, Yun Huang, and Ling Long. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Xie Lanjun and the others left. Sit. Have some tea. Night Sorrow nodded to Liang Yu. I have heard about your god-slaying sect. I am very envious. Liang Yu sat down and said. Don't take my rejection to heart. Those brothers have fought with their lives on the line. They are friends who can block knives for each other. If I agreed directly, it would be irresponsible to them. Night Sorrow explained. I understand. A leader like that can't lead a team like the God-slaying sect. Liang Yu nodded. Leader, we are back. Yun Huang shouted as he and Ling Long came to Night Sorrow's tent. Tianyu, go catch some prey. Night Sorrow shouted to Tianyu, who was lying on the side of the tent. Who is this? Yun Huang looked at Liang Yu and asked. He is Liang Yu. He will be cultivating with us from today. Night Sorrow introduced him. Okay. When you become a venerable, let's spar. Yun Huang poured himself a cup of water and said. We can spar even if we are not venerables. Night Sorrow can fight against venerables. Maybe I can too. Liang Yu said. Sure. Let's give it a try then. Yun Huang stood up and walked towards the outside of the tent. Liang Yu also followed him. Then, he drew out the fiery red sword on his back. It was a long sword that was as wide as a palm and 6 chi*3, 33 m per chi, long. Then let me test your strength. Yun Huang brandished his curved blade and slashed at Liang Yu. Liang Yu swung his sword and sent out a very thick sword light. The sword light and the blade light clashed and cancelled each other out. No. Even if you have the ultimate attribute of the fire attribute, you can't withstand my black baleful lightning. Even though Yun Huang displayed his peak void inquiry stage cultivation base, his lightning attribute was the ultimate attribute of the lightning attribute, the black baleful lightning. His attack was ferocious and it was not something that the fire attribute could withstand. Everyone has some ultimate moves. Let's bar to our heart's content. Liang Yu waved his heavy sword and said. Interesting. Then let's have a good spar. Yun Huang became serious. A purple-black lightning chi barrier appeared around his body. Liang Yu raised his right hand. As he raised his sword, a strong flame chi barrier appeared around his body. Chapter 7:18. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with interesting novels to read. N. His fire attribute is indeed strong. Ordinary fire attribute cultivators won't be able to reach this level. Knight Sorrow nodded. He did have such a discerning eye. After that, Liang Yu and Yun Huang began to fight each other. Both of them were fiery types. It was a head-on battle. Yun Huang was very straightforward. He had been fighting Liang Yu with his peak void inquiry stage cultivation base. Because of Liang Yu's domineering attribute, Yun Huang could not gain the upper hand at all. However, Yun Huang's speed was fast. Even Liang Yu, who had a wide range of attacks, could not gain the upper hand. After fighting for about 10 minutes, Knight Sorrow called them to stop. Yun Huang was unwilling to use his venerable realm cultivation base. The two of them were equally matched. Let me try. Ling Long was also itching to fight. She walked towards Liang Yu with her curved blade. With the support of the protective chi barrier, Ling Long's expression changed because she felt that she was being suppressed. What's wrong with you? Cultivators of the fire attribute have no possibility of fighting me if their cultivation base is not higher than 3 levels above mine. Liang Yu said. You possess the origin of fire attribute? Ling Long's expression changed. N. Liang Yu nodded. If I use my venerable realm cultivation base, even if I win the battle, it will be an unfair victory. If I don't use my venerable realm cultivation base, I won't be able to defeat you. What's the point of the battle then? Ling Long said with slight annoyance. Are you from the South Li region? Liang Yu looked at Ling Long and asked. Yes. So what? Ling Long was very unhappy because her attribute was being suppressed. Moreover, it was being suppressed by an attribute of the same origin. Nothing. Just pretend that I didn't ask. Seeing Ling Long getting angry, Liang Yu smiled and did not say anything else. Alright, let's roast some meat and drink some wine. Knight Sorrow looked at the golden bull that Tianyu had caught and said. After drinking, Knight Sorrow asked Liang Yu to set up a tent. At the same time, he told him about their current cultivation method. I haven't tried it before. I'll try it with you guys later. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Liang Yu's interest was piqued. Then you'll follow the two of them. Yun Huang, Ling Long, regardless of whether Liang Yu joins our god-slaying squad or not, he's now our comrade. Take good care of him, Yi Shan said to Yun Huang and Ling Long. After giving his instructions, Knight Sorrow entered the tent and began to cultivate. While cultivating, Knight Sorrow's mind was full of questions. He did not understand why he came across the golden growler's body, but his harvest was huge. 1 holy spirit stone was equivalent to 100 supreme grade spirit stones. What he got was a huge fortune. There were also many other materials. After daybreak, Knight Sorrow began to cultivate his spear art. Now, he didn't need to enter the domain C to cultivate. His true chi was condensed enough, and the myriad Tao Tome's energy was also incomparably solid. He wanted to cultivate his true chi's control. Once he could control his true chi, he would be able to study the problem of advancement. It was only necessary to cultivate in the realm C after breaking through. In the following days, Knight Sorrow cultivated his spear art and his true chi's control. Wu Lingfei came by a few times and was very satisfied with Knight Sorrow's progress. Xiao Lanjun and Nan Gongqing also came over, mainly because they were worried that Yun Huang and Exquisite wouldn't get along with Liang Yu. That said, they were very satisfied. As for Knight Sorrow, they weren't worried. Yun Huang and Exquisite were people who didn't care about trifles. Liang Yu was also very generous. Night Sorrow had long since noticed this, and it could be seen from Liang Yu's fighting style. Liang Yu's fighting style was to press forward courageously, and his personality determined his fighting style. Because of their congenial personalities, they got along quite well. What's up with Night Sorrow? He's been practicing his spear arts for an entire day. Liang Yu, who was chatting with Yun Huang and Exquisite, asked Night Sorrow, who was practicing his spear arts in front of the tent. It's normal. He's been cultivating in seclusion for an entire month. Before you came, he was also cultivating in the realm sea for an entire month, Yun Huang said with a smile. That's crazy. I'll spar with him when I have time, Liang Yu said. Then you should just forget about it. During that time, the four of us fought him alone. He used a rattan to whip us until we were covered in bloody scars, Exquisite said. As for Night Sorrow, he cultivated his spear arts during the day and cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent at night. Half a month later, Night Sorrow felt that his true chi's control had reached saturation. He was ready to break through to second-level venerable. Letting Tianyu guard him, Night Sorrow went to break through his true chi's control. With his cultivation base enough, his advancement naturally went smoothly. After one night, Night Sorrow's cultivation base reached second-level venerable. After that, Night Sorrow continued cultivating his spear art during the day and stabilizing his true chi at night. At the same time, he cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent. 3 days later, Night Sorrow felt that his cultivation base had stabilized. With 2 spears on his back, he walked towards the realm sea. He planned to enter the realm sea to stabilize his newly advanced cultivation base. After that, he could continue eating dragon spirit pills to increase his cultivation base. Let's go. This time, you'll be able to witness our captain's strength. Seeing Night Sorrow walk towards the realm sea, Yun Huang waved to Exquisite and called out to Liang Yu. Ignoring the 3, Night Sorrow reached the edge of the realm sea. Raising a protective barrier, he cut straight into the realm sea. What kind of speed is this? Liang Yu was shocked to see Night Sorrow leaving a trail of afterimages behind him. That's our captain. At the 5th level, he can easily kill a beginner venerable. He can even injure a mid-level venerable, Yun Huang said proudly. He really is powerful. That speed is too frightening. Liang Yu nodded. Night Sorrow's speed had already reached an extreme. Night Sorrow continued to charge into the realm sea. He only started cultivating after crossing 100 li of the area where Wu Lingfei had taken him to watch. By this time, Yun Huang and the others could no longer see Night Sorrow's figure. He's cultivating in the center of the spatial storm. Can he endure it? Liang Yu was shocked. He was very confident in himself, but Night Sorrow's display of strength made him feel both shocked and pressured. Of course he can. Don't be surprised. Just get used to it. Let's cultivate too. Exquisite shook her head. She was already used to Night Sorrow's freakish strength. Night Sorrow was currently in an area he was used to in the past, and the spacetime pagoda didn't consume too much energy. Night Sorrow shuttled through the turbulent flow of space, cultivating his movement technique and spear technique. Whenever he consumed too much energy, he would return to the spacetime pagoda to recover. Night Sorrow could sense the improvement of his innate bloodline power and soul power every day. In addition to the fact that his true chi was becoming more and more stable after being tempered, he was very excited to cultivate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, it's been half a month and this guy still hasn't come out. Impressive. After cultivating for half a month, Liang Yu was completely convinced of Night Sorrow's strength. You're quite strong as well. You're at the 9th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You're in the same area as the 2 of us. That's very good. Exquisite said. It's still not enough. In the past, I thought I was very capable. But now, I feel that I'm much weaker. I still need to work harder. Liang Yu said. Chapter 719. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Captain, you're not going to raise your cultivation again, are you? Yun Huang asked Yishan. Of course. My foundation is solid and my true qi is condensed. I can control it well, Night Sorrow said. Yun Huang shook his head. Exquisite felt helpless as well. They had worked very hard, but Night Sorrow had been too fast. There was nothing they could do about it. First of all, the depth of the realm sea was different, so there was a difference in tempering. They caught a demon beast and roasted it. The four of them drank some wine together. Then, Night Sorrow went to visit Long Xianxing and Wu Lingfei. It would take a long time for him to eat the dragon spirit pill, so he needed to know what was going on outside. Night Sorrow didn't see Long Xianxing. Instead, he saw Wu Lingfei and Xiaolan Jun. The two told Night Sorrow that everything was normal outside, but the people of Medicine Valley had gone to Sky City. The Empyrean Terminus Tower was the most well-informed. Naturally, the Empyrean Terminus Tower knew that Lu Yangyu and Guanyi had gone to the city in the sky. Hearing this, Night Sorrow decided to go back. Wu Lingfei wanted to accompany Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow refused. He just wanted to go back and take a look, not to fight. That's fine. If there's anything, go to Tianji Tower's headquarters. The Chief Tower Master and the Chief Supervisor are there, Wu Lingfei said. After that, Yishan went to the valley where Night Moon Dynasty's troops were resting and chatted with Yilingxie. When there was nothing else, Night Sorrow went back to the camp. He told Yun Huang and the others that he was going to leave. Let's go back together. We also need to rest. Anyway, you have a flying ship. It won't be troublesome to use the teleportation array. Also, let's bring this guy back and introduce him to everyone. Ling Long pointed at Liang Yu. That works too. Let's go back together and rest for a few days. After thinking about Night Sorrow, he agreed. After putting away Tianyu, Night Sorrow released the airship. After letting the three enter the airship, Night Sorrow controlled the airship and rushed towards Haohai City. At the same time, Night Sorrow explained the rules of the god-slaying squad to Liang Yu. Liang Yu pondered for a moment before saying, if they are good people, then I won't betray my brother. I can take a blow for my brother. Night Sorrow nodded. That was not a problem. As long as they followed the rules of the god-slaying team, everything would be fine. When they arrived at the border of Vast Ocean City's realm sea, Night Sorrow put away the airship, and the group rode their mounts towards Vast Ocean City's teleportation array. Liang Yu's mount was the Flame Feather Eagle, which was also at the peak of Tier 4. Its speed was also extremely fast. When they arrived at the Haohai City's teleportation array, they teleported to the Taiching domain. As soon as they stepped out of the Taiching domain's teleportation array, Night Sorrow felt a killing intent lock onto him. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow shouted. He activated his protective barrier and blasted his strongest spear forward. #look at the S version T chapter S section N above OT bang. After a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's body was sent flying. Only then did Yun Huang and the other two leave their original spot. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow did not dodge. If he did, that terrifying sword chi would have struck them. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow roared again. He activated his protective barrier and cut to the side to avoid the opponent's attack. Assassination. This guy's cultivation base is at the high-level venerable realm. We are no match for him. Don't distract the captain. Hurry up and leave. Yun Huang's body drew an arc as he rushed towards the Tianji Tower. He knew that it was useless for him to stay. The best way was to call for reinforcements. Ling Long also followed Yun Huang and rushed towards the Tianji Tower. She could not help Night's sorrow if she stayed. Besides, she was worried that Yun Huang would be intercepted. If that happened, there would be no one to report to. You bastard! You're too despicable. Night's sorrow, run around the sea of fire. After Liang Yu shouted, he stood at the edge of the teleportation array. Then, he waved his arm and a sea of fire appeared in the open space in front of the teleportation array. At this moment, Night's sorrow also saw the attacker clearly. It was an inconspicuous old man in a gray robe. However, the long sword in his hand was very sharp. Sword chi slashed towards Night's sorrow. At the same time, he crossed the sea of fire and chased after Night's sorrow. How dare you jump into the sea of fire? Watch me burn your balls! Liang Yu roared. His arms shook, and the flames in the sea of fire soared into the sky. Not only did they block the old man, but the flames also attacked the old man's body. Night's sorrow activated his protective barrier and cut back, avoiding the old man's sword chi attack. He knew that there was no chance of winning. The strength of a high-level venerable was completely different from that of a mid-level venerable. Liang Yu, go! Night's sorrow shouted. He was worried that the old man would attack Liang Yu. Ha! I'm on the teleportation array. How dare he attack it? I don't think he has the courage. Liang Yu laughed and shouted. At the same time, he controlled the flames to burn the old man's body. Regardless of how the flames attacked, he wanted to interrupt the old man's attack rhythm and affect his vision. Night's sorrow thought for a moment and began to run around the teleportation array's hole. Attacking the teleportation array was an act of war. If the old man attacked the teleportation array, the guards of the Taiqing domain would attack. There were venerable realm guards here. The gray-robed old man did not attack the teleportation array because he would be attacked by a group of people. Night's sorrow was fast and agile. The gray-robed old man could not catch up to him. However, Night's sorrow knew that this was a crisis. Once he was caught, it would be a big problem. Night's sorrow was seriously injured after taking the old man's attack head-on. His shin chi was shaken, the tendons and veins in his arms were damaged, and his internal organs were displaced. Fortunately, his body was strong. Otherwise, he would have been killed in one move. While Night's sorrow was fighting, Yun Huang rushed toward the Tianji Tower. The teleportation array was not too far away from the Tianji Tower branch. Yun Huang shouted for help when he was not far away. When Yun Huang shouted for help, a sword chi flew toward Yun Huang. Yun Huang hurriedly waved his scimitar and slashed at the sword chi. Bang! After a muffled sound, Yun Huang vomited blood and was sent flying. At this time, Ling Long rushed over and pulled Yun Huang's body into the Tianji Tower's gate. We are the Tianji emissaries. We are being surrounded. Help! What's going on? At this time, two figures arrived in the Tianji Tower's lobby. There is a high-level venerable at the gate. He is asking for help. There is also a high-level venerable at the teleportation array trying to kill Night's sorrow. Help Night's sorrow quickly. Ling Long's face was full of anxiety. She knew what a high-level venerable was. They could easily kill a low-level venerable. Supervisor Lan, deal with the one at the gate. I will go to the teleportation array. A golden figure rushed out. He was the Tianji Tower's Gold Palace attendant, Yao Yang. He was currently guarding the Tianji Tower branch in the Taiqing domain. Lan Yuxuan, who had dared to do something, rushed out of the Tianji Tower's gate and caught up with a thin old man. He was the venerable who had attacked Yun Huang. 7th level venerable, you came to assassinate our Tianji Tower's Tianji emissaries. Today, I want you dead, and the people behind you dead. Lan Yushuan waved her long sword and fought with the venerable. Night Sorrow's crisis was getting more and more intense. The gray-robed old man was too strong. He had no chance to rest, and his injuries were getting worse. Chapter 720. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Because the gray-robed old man's attack frequency was fast and fierce, Night Sorrow didn't have any time to rest. Therefore, his internal organs were impacted and he didn't have time to recover. His meridians were also on the verge of cracking due to the violent circulation of his true chi. Love go little say, Chu. Although Night Sorrow knew that this couldn't go on, he had no other choice unless he entered the space-time treasure pagoda. However, he had been sealed all this time. Entering the space-time treasure pagoda was asking for trouble. If he used space rend, the opponent's speed would be very fast. The possibility of the attack hitting was very small. Just as Night Sorrow was about to use soul destruction / to alleviate the crisis, an opportunity appeared. Yao Yang appeared behind Night Sorrow and slashed out a few times, blocking the gray-robed old man's sword chi. A high-level venerable wants to kill my Tianji Tower's young master. You're tired of living. Yao Yang growled and attacked the gray-robed old man, resolving Night Sorrow's crisis. Liang Yu ran over and pulled Night Sorrow to the safety of the teleportation array. At this time, the Tai Ching Domain's guards were guarding the teleportation array with swords in hand. Love go little say, Chu, are you okay? Liang Yu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm okay. You were attacked by a high-level venerable and you didn't even give me a chance to breathe. Night Sorrow glanced at Liang Yu and took out a drop of life spirit liquid to heal the injuries in his body. At the same time, the myriad Tao Tome and the medicine spirit's power circulated at the same time to recuperate his body. If it was me, I would have collapsed. This guy is too despicable. A high-level venerable attacked and he even assassinated him. He has no limits. Liang Yu curled his lips and said. At this time, the battle between Yao Yang and the gray-robed old man was very intense. However, Yao Yang was suppressing the other party's attacks. The long sword in Yao Yang's hand was constantly vibrating, and the sword chi he emitted carried ripples. If he really wanted to kill me, he wouldn't have given me a chance to catch my breath. If he hadn't taken the opportunity to attack me near the teleportation hall, I would have died right now, Night Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Venerable to assassinate you. Liang Yu nodded. At this time, Yishan was no longer in danger because the experts of the Celestial Extreme Tower had arrived. Lin's heart's heart. Lin Yuandao attacked right away. Lin Yuandao swung his arms twice and 2 ripples cut off the gray-robed elder's arms. Yao Yang rushed up and punched again, shattering the gray-robed old man's dantian. Then, he grabbed the gray-robed old man's neck and pulled him in front of Night Sorrow and Lin Yuandao. As a high-level venerable, can you be more shameless? Liang Yu took 2 steps forward and stabbed his broadsword between the gray-robed old man's legs. The broadsword that was infused with fire energy was no different from a soldering iron. Love go little say W. Chu. Following the old man's scream, the old man's crotch emitted a squeaking sound and green smoke. It's not a man's thing. You can't use a man's thing. Liang Yu's words made everyone speechless. Don't kill him. We still have to interrogate him. See which force sent him. This must be investigated. Lin Yuandao could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. Just as Lin Yuandao was speaking, the old man struggled violently and tore his robe, breaking free from Yao Yang's control. Then, he slammed his head against Liang Yu's broadsword and died. Why are you so manly at a time like this? Liang Yu was stunned. He had not expected the gray-robed old man to commit suicide like this. He can't die. Yao Yang, take his corpse and see if there are any clues. Night Sorrow, let's go. After Lin Yuandao finished speaking, he wrapped Night Sorrow in energy and rushed toward the Tianji Tower's division. There was still an assassin there, so he was anxious to leave him alive. However, what everyone expected happened. The high-level venerable who had been crippled by Guo Xiao also committed suicide. These are all death warriors. Elder Hua, Supervisor Guo, quickly go to the Qingtian region's teleportation array and the Celestial Peak Pavilion to take a look. The news hasn't spread, so if there are venerables lying in ambush, we can still catch them. Even if there are no survivors, there will still be clues. Yao Yang, go to the teleportation array in Dongxian City with Supervisor Lan and catch them. Night Sorrow and I will stay here for now. Lin Yuandao made a series of arrangements. He did not dare to act rashly, as he was worried that someone would come to kill Night Sorrow. Then, the people of Tianji Tower began to move. Night Sorrow fed Yun Huang the life spirit fluid and gave him healing medicine at the same time. Chief Tower Master, his injuries are very serious. His internal organs are ruptured, and the bones in his right hand are broken. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said, Captain, I won't die yet. It's just that I can't fight with you for a while. Yun Huang, who was in a somewhat dispirited state, said. As long as you don't die, our Tianji Tower has the ability to recover. Lin Yuandao went to Yun Huang and pressed one hand on his shoulder to help him heal. New chapter T9 plus previous chapter #ran hour later. Yun Huang had recovered a lot. Lin Yuandao was of the water attribute, so his healing effect was very strong. Lin Yuandao stood up. Hua Haining, Guo Xiao, Yao Yang, and Lan Yuxuan had all returned. Guo Xiao was carrying an old man. The old man's limbs were broken, his dantian was shattered, and his head was fixed in place. There was also a piece of cloth stuffed in his mouth, so there was no possibility of him committing suicide. Because we were afraid that he would commit suicide, we were prepared. That's why we caught him alive. Guo Xiao threw the old man's body to the ground. Yao Yang, go interrogate him. No matter what method you use, you have to get the answer. Be careful not to let him bite his tongue and commit suicide, Lin Yuandao said to Yao Yang. Yao Yang nodded and directly opened his mouth twice, knocking out the old man's teeth. Then, he carried the old man and walked to the back of the Tianji Tower branch. Supervisor Lan, follow and watch over the treatment. If you don't say anything, you can't die even if you want to. Lin Yuandao then arranged for Lan Yuxuan. Guo Xiao and Hua Haining began to look at the bodies of the other two people. Sometimes, not only the living could speak, but the dead could also speak. This is someone from the Western Nether region. The skull tattoo on his back is a custom of the Western Nether region. After this person became a death warrior, although the tattoo was destroyed, there are still traces of it, Hua Haining said after examining the body. Someone from the Western Nether region. Our Tianji Tower doesn't have much of a dispute with the Western Nether region. To be able to send such a venerable, it can only be the arrangement of a saint. Let's see which one is more specific. Lin Yuandao had a rough idea in his heart. However, he didn't find anything on the second person. There were no marks on his body except for scars. He didn't even have a storage ring. Lin Yuandao looked carefully, looking for flaws. After a while, Lin Yuandao looked at the guy's hair. Chapter 721. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Humph. He thinks he's flawless, but his hair isn't white. It's pure silver. That's the symbol of the Qingtian region Silver Devil clan. He should be a descendant of the Silver Dusk Saint. Lin Yuandao's eyes were filled with coldness. The one who was captured alive should be someone sent by Qin Yuan, Guo said. When Guo spoke, Yao Yang and Lan Yushuan came out. Chief Supervisor is right. He's from the Tianfeng dynasty, Yao Yang said. Chief Supervisor Guo, take Yao Yang and accompany Night Sorrow and the others to the city in the sky. I'll take these people to see the Supreme. This matter isn't over yet, Lin Yuandao said. Then, Guo took Night Sorrow and the others back to the city in the sky. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi were shocked to see Night Sorrow's pale face. Night Sorrow, are you injured? Sikong Chuyu helped Night Sorrow to sit down and said. Yes, I was ambushed. It's nothing, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Who's so shameless? Yang Lei was very angry. At the same time, she grabbed Night Sorrow and checked his injuries. Love go little Sei Wang, Chu, 6th senior sister, Yun Huang's injuries are more serious than mine. Get him some healing medicine in the next few days, Night Sorrow said to Aoi. 6th senior sister, you don't know. Captain was ambushed by a high-level venerable. If we were the main target, we would be dead by now, Ling Long said. You don't have to worry. This time, Tianji Tower will make a big move. If the young master is being assassinated by a high-level venerable, it won't be Tianji Tower. Guo Xiao's face was full of murderous intent. This time, the other party's actions had crossed the bottom line of Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow then introduced Liang Yu to the others. Liang Yu was very polite at this time, cupping his hands in greeting. He was completely different from when he cut off the gray-robed elder's crotch. Liang Yu, you didn't run away at the crucial moment. You stayed behind to help our captain. I, Yun Huang, recognize you as my brother, Yun Huang said after his injuries were checked by the Aoi. Yes. I've passed this test as well. Later on, I'll recommend him to our brothers in the team. Exquisite also expressed her attitude. Then Yang Lei talked about Guan Yi and Yu Yang Yu's intention. Master wants you to make the decision. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. We'll let Ho Jian and Shuai Ling deal with this later. If they think it's appropriate, then it's appropriate. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Then, Night Sorrow asked Guo Xiao and Yao Yang to prepare a feast. He went into seclusion to heal his injuries. Yun Huang did the same. Healing pills were only supplementary effects. The main thing was to heal his body. His broken arm greatly affected his combat ability. At this time, on the island in the Realm Sea, 2 corpses were placed in front of Xie Lanjun and the others. There was also the inhuman captive. How dare they challenge our bottom line? Then there's no need to be polite. Let's fight. They used a high-level venerable to kill our young master, so we don't have to follow the rules, Xie Lanjun said. They're crazy. Zhen Haixing's face was full of anger. Master K, what do you mean? Xie Lanjun looked at Lin Yuandao. Let's start an all-out war. The Supreme Elder and a few saints will keep an eye on their saints here. We'll destroy the Tianfeng dynasty first, then attack the Silver Devil clan. Finally, we'll go to the Western Nether region to eradicate the forces behind the saints of the Western Nether region. Okay. Then let's do it. We'll block their saints outside Haohai City. Master K, you can lead your men to kill them. Xie Lanjun said. Master Lin Yuandao, if you need help, just call for Lord Taishu. Our men from the North Sea domain are at your disposal, Zhen Haixing said. He was expressing his stance. The Eastern Xian region and the Northern Sea region were in a complete alliance. Furthermore, Tai Shuyan was the Vice-Chief Tower Lord of the Celestial Terminus Tower. His intention was not to interfere with Tai Shuyan's decisions. Thank you, Senior Zhen Haixing. Our Tianji Tower's men will have no problem wiping them out. The pressure will be on the seniors, Lin Yuandao said. That's not a problem. We'll block them at the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. If they come to ask for help, we'll kill them. If they want to fight, then let's play big, Xie Lanjun said. Then I'll go to the eastern Xian region to mobilize some men. Wu Lingfei's face was full of frost. If you asked who was the angriest, it would be her. She had been silent all this time because she was ready to attack. Master Wu Kei, follow us and kill them. We'll crush them like dry weeds and not give them a chance, Xie Lanjun said. Then the group moved. Xie Lanjun and the others also moved their garrison to the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. Lin Yuandao and Wu Lingfei left and began to mobilize their men. Knight Sorrow went into seclusion for 4 consecutive days to recover from his internal injuries. The high-level Venerable's attacks were too violent and caused him great damage. Knight Sorrow only came out of seclusion after he fully recovered. After coming out of seclusion, Knight Sorrow went to see Yun Huang. Yun Huang had almost recovered. When he was attacked, unlike Knight Sorrow who was worried about the safety of the people behind him, he dodged to the side and didn't take the full brunt of the attack. Lin Yuandao also helped him recuperate. Now, only the broken bones in his right hand needed time to heal. Yun Huang also came out of seclusion today. Soon after, the two of them went to the training field. When they saw Knight Sorrow, they all greeted him. Guanyi also cupped his hands in greeting to Knight Sorrow. First is my senior brother Guanyi. Whether you agree or not is up to you. However, I want to make one thing clear. Even if my 12th senior brother joins the team, he is only a member of the God-slaying team. He is my senior brother outside of the team. Now, Xueling, Ho Jian, you ask for everyone's opinion, Knight Sorrow said. Then Xueling and Ho Jian asked for everyone's opinion. No one objected because Guanyi had gotten along well with everyone recently. If no one objects, he will temporarily join the God-slaying team. After a few battles, he will be an official member. Knight Sorrow announced the final decision. Then, Ling Long pushed Liang Yu to Knight Sorrow's side. Next up is Liang Yu. He has interacted with Yun Huang and Ling Long for some time. Now, he also wants to join our group. First of all, Yun Huang and Ling Long, what do you two think? Yi Shan looked towards Yun Huang and Ling Long, both of us support this and officially recommend him to the team. However, this also requires everyone's acceptance, Yun Huang said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Xueling, Ho Jian, how about this, Liang Yu will temporarily join the team. After a few battles, we will make a decision based on the situation. As I said before, brotherhood is the most important thing in the God-slaying team. We will not abandon any of our brothers. We can be their backs, Knight Sorrow said. Brother, don't worry. Once you understand the God-slaying team, you will definitely not feel wrong today, Yun Huang said as he patted Liang Yu's shoulder. Chapter 722. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. While Knight Sorrow was making arrangements for the God-slaying team, Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and North Sea region gathered their forces and began to attack the Tianfeng dynasty. This time, it was not a battle for territory, but a battle of extermination. While Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and Northern Sea domain were charging towards the Tianfeng dynasty, Lin Yuandao, Wu Lingfei, Li Jingxian, Bei Tiangu, and Tai Shu Yan led the high-level venerables to kill their way to the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty. They didn't plan to give the Tianfeng dynasty a chance. The Tianfeng dynasty was very powerful. They had many high-level honorables and even 3 peak-level honorables. However, how could they stand against 2 saints and a team led by an invincible honorable? All the higher-ups of the Tianfeng dynasty were killed in an instant. They didn't even have the qualifications to fight back. There had never been such a battle in the past. In the past, it wasn't as if there hadn't been any fights between the major forces, but there had been no saints involved. Chen Yuan's sneak attack on the Night Moon dynasty was an exception, and it hadn't been publicized to the outside world. However, it wasn't the case this time. This time, Tianji Tower was an open assassination. After the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty fell, Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, and the others started killing from the central area to the periphery. In other words, none of the higher-ups and managers of the Tianfeng dynasty were left alive. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. COM without destroying the teleportation array, the killing speed was incomparably fast. At this time, Chen Yuan, who was meditating on an island in the realm sea, stood up, called out to West Taizong, and then went to Silver Dusk Saint's tent. "What's the matter? Why are you so flustered?" Silver Sunset Saint opened his eyes and stood up. "My descendant, the Tianfeng dynasty's monarch's life medallion has shattered, and the other two Peak Venerables' life medallions have also shattered. This is a big deal, let's hurry over and take a look." Chen Yuan's face took on a ghastly expression because the three broken life badges belonged to three top-grade venerable ones from the Tianfeng dynasty. They're making their move now. This shouldn't be the case. Let's go and take a look. Yin Shi's face also turned cold. She knew that if the Tianfeng dynasty was destroyed, it would be a big event, and it might just be the beginning. They had just crossed the realm's sea and were about to head to the teleportation portal in Vast Sea City when they were intercepted. Everlasting Saint, what is the meaning of this? Silver Sunset Saint looked at Xia Longjun coldly and asked. Now you're asking me what I mean. Then let me ask you what you mean. Xia Longjun waved her hand and threw the two corpses and the captives who were still alive but were barely humanoid in front of her. Seeing Silver Dusk Saint's corpse, Shi Taizong and Chen Yuan's expressions changed. You don't want to say anything? True Ocean Saint asked. I don't know what you're talking about. Yin Shi replied directly. Since we've already shed all pretense of cordiality, there's no point in pretending to keep up appearances. Yin Shi, let me see how much you've improved over the years. As for daring to challenge me directly. Xia Longjun waved her arm and a long sword appeared in her hand. Xia Longjun, are you really going to fight? Silver Sunset Saint narrowed his eyes and looked at Xia Longjun. I didn't want to fight either, but you forced us to. In fact, I really don't understand how this will benefit you. The Tianfeng dynasty will be destroyed. The Silver Devil clan will be destroyed. The West Green sect will be destroyed soon. Is this the result you want? Xia Longjun waved her long sword and said. Xia Longjun, how dare you? Silver Dusk Saint roared. His silver hair shook violently and fell back to his shoulders. You dared to touch the young master of our extreme celestial palace and even send a high-level venerable to assassinate him. What else do I not dare to do? You brought about your own destruction. Since that's the case, I can't maintain peace even if I want to. Only then can we fight. Xia Longjun exhaled and said. Now that she had shed all pretense of cordiality, she had also let go of the burden. You brought this upon yourself. Long Xuanqing's figure appeared, but he appeared behind Xia Longjun and the others. Senior Long Xuanqing, aren't you going to stop this? This will damage the strength of the 9 regions. Silver Dusk Saint looked at Long Xuanqing and asked. Yin Shi, your words are unreasonable. It's fine if you attack the younger generation, but if they attack you, it will damage the strength of the 9 regions. I just found out that you crossed the line. Long Xuanqing stood with his hands behind his back. At this moment, True Sea Saint moved and charged towards West Taitsang. South Heaven Saint was also facing Qin Yuan. Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were also fighting. Yin Shi, I'm very disappointed in you. Now, we can only talk through battle. Xia Lanjun also moved and slashed her sword towards Silver Dusk. What kind of situation was it when 8 saints were fighting? The sky was dark, and the air was filled with sharp energy. It's better not to hurt the 9 regions world. Long Xianqing stomped his right foot, and the yellow energy spread out in all directions with him as the center. As the yellow energy spread out, the sword qi and blade light landed on the ground, not even a speck of dust flew up. Because it was a targeted battle, Xia Lanjuan's side had the upper hand. Especially since Qin Yuan was being suppressed by South Heaven Saint. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated and killed. True Sea Saint was also completely suppressing West Taitsang. On the other hand, Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were evenly matched. The most intense battle was between Xia Lanjun and Silver Dusk Saint. The area where the two of them were fighting had spatial cracks spreading out in all directions like a spider web. However, Silver Dusk Saint could only defend and did not have any ability to counterattack. Yin Shi controlled the wind and water attribute, while Xia Lanjun controlled the wind and lightning attribute. In terms of attributes, Xia Lanjun was obviously stronger. Let's go. Seeing that the situation was bad, Silver Dusk Saint shouted and wanted to leave. If Yin Shi wanted to leave, it would be difficult for Xia Lanjun to kill her. However, Xia Lanjun did not allow her to leave the battlefield and started to surround her. At this moment, True Sea Saint, who was fighting against West Taitsang, turned around and heavily injured Qin Yuan, who was using all his energy to defend against South Heaven Saint. True Sea Saint, you're despicable. Qin Yuan, who was stabbed in the back and had a hole in his chest, cursed. Who are you blaming if you're stupid? Didn't your master tell you that you have to be observant and alert during a battle? True Sea Saint, who was suppressing West Taitsang again and did not let him escape, said something that made Qin Yuan want to vomit blood. If you want to fight or run, I don't care. However, I have something to say first. If I hear that you're attacking cultivators below the saint stage again, then wait for me to hunt you down. Of course, if you think you can withstand my anger, then do as you please. Long Xianqing looked at the situation in the sky and said. Silver Dusk Saint wanted to save Qin Yuan, but Xia Lanjun did not give her the chance. Her long sword was covered with wind blades and lightning, constantly intercepting her movements. Following a scream, Qin Yuan's neck was cut off by South Heaven Saint's sword. Then, he added another sword, shattering his spirit sea. Only 6y11 positive, square root version 5. His all, Pirate KF version 1, at this moment, Silver Dusk Saint knew that the situation was set. She quickly drew her sword and continued to retreat. Then, a white light appeared on her body and she left through the sky. Chapter 723. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Xia Lanjun, you're despicable. I won't let you go. Silver Dusk Sage's voice came from the sky. The moment you used your despicable means, I've already made you my enemy. If you're not convinced, I'll be waiting for you at the Silver Devil Villa. Xia Lanjun shouted. Then, Xia Lanjun charged towards West Taitsang. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, she had to deal the greatest blow to her opponent. West Taitsang was already having a hard time dealing with True Ocean Sage. Now that Xia Lanjun, who was much stronger than him, was attacking him as well, he couldn't hold on any longer. In just a few moments, his left arm was chopped off. Ah! Just you wait. West Taitsong transformed into a ball of black energy and fled into the distance. There's no need to chase him. That's death disintegration. He's using his body's energy to execute his ultimate move. We can't chase after him. However, he won't be able to come out for the time being, Long Xianqing said. Then, Xiaolongjun, Southern Gongxing, True Ocean Sage, and Flying Tiger Sage began to besiege Black Dragon Sage. Ha! Well, I won't die unjustly under the encirclement of 4 sages. However, it's a pity that I met a few unscrupulous companions. Black Dragon Sage laughed and transformed into his true form to fight with the others. Black Dragon Sage, I don't want to see this happen either. Isn't the realm of unbounded desolation fine? Why do you have to get involved with them and send a high-level venerable to assassinate him? That's not right. Flying Tiger Sage sighed. Perhaps you're right. However, things have already come to this point. It has nothing to do with me. Don't think of me as such a despicable person, Black Dragon Sage said. If you want to turn back and make a promise, it's fine. Xiaolongjun said. She didn't want to lose the strength of a 9-realm saint. Besides, the ambush had nothing to do with Black Dragon Sage. Alright, let's stop and talk. If we can't, we'll fight again. Long Xianqing said. Hearing Long Xuanqing's words, the group stopped fighting and looked at Long Xianqing at the same time. Hey Kuei, the realm of unbounded desolation is not doing well. Do the demonic beasts have nowhere to go? Silver Dusk Saint and the others are scheming against us. What are you doing here? Long Xianqing said. Black Dragon Saint's name was He Kuei. Senior Long Xianqing, it's not that He Kuei is unreasonable. It's just that there are some things that He Kuei doesn't understand. The Black Dragon Sage transformed into his human form and said. Alright, if you make a promise, they will not make things difficult for you. Long Xianqing said. As long as you don't humiliate my race and my dignity, that's fine, the Black Dragon Saint said. Even in the face of danger, the Black Dragon Saint still maintained his bottom line. It's not as serious as you think. Just don't get involved with Silver Dusk Saint and the others. Also, when everyone is fighting for the 9 zones, I hope you can contribute to the 9 zones as well, Xiaolongjun said. I only just found out that they sent high-level venerables to kill low-level venerables. I despise them for abandoning their companions and running away. They are not the same kind of people. If the 9 regions world needs help, I will help. Black Dragon Xinghe Kuei said. Then go back. Xiaolongjun nodded. The Black Dragon Saint's promise was enough for the current situation. Thank you, Senior Long Xianqing. Junior He Kuei will remember this. The Black Dragon Saint bowed. Well, you were just muddle-headed. Long Xianqing shook his head and said. Go back. If you have time, come and drink with me. The Flying Tiger Saint threw a jar of wine to the Black Dragon Saint. Flying Tiger, I can't do anything for the unbounded desolation. I'll leave some things to you. If you need anything, let me know. After receiving the jar of wine, the Black Dragon Saint left the battlefield. Let's go to the Silver Devil Villa now. Since we've already made our move, we won't give them a chance to rest, Xiaolongjun said. She couldn't give Yin Shi a chance to return to the Silver Devil Villa first. Xiaolongjun, let me ask for a favor. I have some friendship with the Moon Emperor. After taking down the Tianfeng dynasty, it's better for us to return the cities that originally belonged to the Night Moon dynasty to them. Seeing that Xiaolongjun and the others were about to leave, Long Xianqing said. Long Xianqing, you can rest assured. Even if you didn't ask, we would have done the same. Xiaolongjun nodded. Go. As for the Sky Underworld Saint, I'll deal with him. Long Xianqing said. Just as Night Sorrow was about to leave for the island, Le Trin Swan arrived. Le Trin Swan said, "Young master, his lordship has asked me to pass on a message. He wants you to arrange for people to take over the cities that were previously occupied by the Tianfeng dynasty in the Night Moon dynasty." "What's going on?" Night Sorrow asked, somewhat surprised. Le Trin Swan said, "The Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. Now, all the major cities are ownerless. Young master, you can send people to take over the cities. As long as the flag of the Night Moon dynasty flies in the cities, the other dynasties won't dare to attack." "Okay, I'll make the arrangements." Night Sorrow then called Yilinglan over and asked him to bring people to take over the cities. Seeing Le Trin Swan leave with the people of the Night Moon dynasty, Yun Huang muttered, "Looks like we've really gone overboard this time. The Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. How can we not go overboard? Captain is the young master of the Tianji Tower. They've crossed the line by using high-level venerables to assassinate us. We'll definitely fight them to the death." Yang Lei sighed and said, "I didn't expect saints to be so stupid. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. If they know, there'll be a war. Why bother? They didn't succeed. Once they succeeded, they would have retreated. Without any clues, who can do anything to them? It's not right to make a move without evidence. The saints won't do that." Aoi thought for a moment and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was the truth. If there was no evidence, Xia Lanjun and the others couldn't do anything. Then, everyone continued to cultivate. However, Yun Huang could only watch. His arm was still recovering. On the third night after Yilinglan went to take over the cities, Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao arrived at the city in the sky. "Aunt Fei, what's the situation now?" Night Sorrow asked. "The Tianfeng dynasty has been completely wiped out. The Qingtian domain's Silver Devil clan has been wiped out. We'll go to the West Nether domain later to wipe out the West Green sect," Wu Lingfei said. "Is there any trouble?" Night Sorrow asked. He knew that the saints had completely fallen out with each other this time. Taiyuan Saint Qin Yuan has been killed. Shi Taizong gave up his body and used death disintegration to escape. He won't be able to come out for a while. After all, the destruction of one's body is very serious. The Black Dragon Saint has made a promise. The problem is almost solved. The only trouble is that Yin Shi has escaped, Wu Lingfei said. Seeing that Night Sorrow was fine, she felt a little more at ease. I-6. Positive. Version 1. Why didn't you kill the Black Dragon Saint? Aren't you worried that he'll break the promise? Sikong Chuyu asked. The Black Dragon Saint didn't participate in the sneak attack on Night Sorrow. In addition, Long Xianxing was also present. If he wants to break the promise, he has to think twice, Wu Lingfei explained. Chapter 724. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yun Huang wasn't the only one worried about this. Everyone was worried about this. The revenge of an unscrupulous saint was too terrifying. Anyone below the saint realm would be killed instantly. You don't have to worry too much about this. Long Xianxing warned her that if she dares to attack anyone below the saint realm, Long Xianxing will deal with her. Love Go Little Say, Chu Xiaolanjun and the others also appeared in the city in the sky. That's better. Otherwise, it would really kill me. Night Sorrow said. However, she hates you to the bone. It's hard to say whether she will attack you or not. You must be careful. Zhen Haixing reminded Night Sorrow. How can I be careful? She is a saint. If she wants to kill me, I'm afraid I won't even have the ability to resist. Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. Xiao Lanjun and the others also shook their heads because this was almost unsolvable. Unless Night Sorrow was protected by someone at all times. During this period of time, follow Aunt Fei. Wu Lingfei said. Then, the saints left the city in the sky. After the war, there were many things to do. Aunt Fei, I brought trouble again this time. Night Sorrow said apologetically as he drank tea with Wu Lingfei under the lake. How is it you who brought trouble? It's us elders who didn't handle this matter well. You shouldn't be the one who should be apologetic. Wu Lingfei said. The destruction of the Tianfeng dynasty is good news for Night Moon. The other dynasties are not as happy as the Tianfeng dynasty. Night Sorrow said. Night Moon dynasty has fewer and fewer obstacles to rise. The biggest obstacle is probably the 7-star dynasty because it has a saint. However, the saint of the 7-star dynasty hasn't appeared for many years. He didn't even appear in the war between the dynasties 20 years ago. Wu Lingfei said. There are more things to do. Aunt Fei can't be quiet. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's okay. No matter who it is now, no one dares to challenge the Eastern Profound region. Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei is not in the Eastern Xian region. You have to be careful outside. Night Sorrow was also worried about Wu Lingfei's safety. Between saints, unless the gap is too big, it is almost impossible to kill them. Furthermore, you know Auntie Fei's situation, speed is fast, not everyone can threaten Auntie Fei. Love go little say W Chu. Wu Lingfei smiled at Night Sorrow. Then Auntie Fei has to be careful. Silver Dusk Saint is a vile person. Don't use any tricks. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew what Wu Ling concubine's true body was. Speed was her forte. Auntie Fei has been in the 9-domain world for many years, so her experience is not fake. You, on the other hand, should focus more on spatial fissures. That way, you'll have one more life-saving method, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. The two drank tea and chatted. Night Sorrow didn't feel much pressure. After all, Wu Lingfei was by his side. She wasn't someone who could be killed easily. While they were drinking tea and chatting, Yiling Lan came and told Night Sorrow that the takeover of the city had gone smoothly. Then I'll go connect to the teleportation array later, Night Sorrow said. No need. Those teleportation arrays weren't destroyed. We went to the main teleportation array of Tianfeng Royal City and took back the fragments of the teleportation crystals. They have already connected to Night Moon's teleportation array, Yiling Lan said. Then I'm relieved. Also, if someone attacks, don't resist. Just retreat. I'll take care of it, Night Sorrow said. He didn't want Night Moon to lose any members. At present, Night Moon's members were still lacking in combat strength. If the upper echelons couldn't fight, they would be at a disadvantage. Therefore, he was worried. Young master, don't worry. I have a plan for this. Yiling Lan nodded. He could see Night Moon's situation clearly. Afterward, Yiling Lan went to make the necessary arrangements. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei continued to chat. Night Sorrow was quite happy because things were developing in a good direction. After drinking tea for a while, Night Sorrow sent Wu Lingfei to rest and went to the training field to watch the others cultivate. Look, vs forever plus free. Speak. Liang Yu and Guan Yu were currently cultivating joint attacks. If they wanted to join the god-slaying squad, they needed to know joint attacks. Night Sorrow and Yunhuang took out a jug of wine and chatted as they drank. It's uncomfortable to stay here. Once my arm recovers, we'll go to that island and continue cultivating in the chaotic streams of space in the realm's sea, Yunhuang said. He couldn't move his arm easily and felt quite sullen. That's fine. Once your arm recovers, we'll take everyone to the realms sea to cultivate. Cultivating there will give us a solid foundation. But you and Linglong have to control it well. Nothing can happen. We can't lose any of our brothers, Night Sorrow said after a moment's thought. Yun Huang nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow hoped that everyone's cultivation would improve quickly, but safety was the most important thing. Night Sorrow and the three women waited until evening before returning to the mansion. 13. I'm a bit scared. This world is too chaotic. I used to think that fifth stage experts were experts, and sovereigns were amazing. But now, even saints view you as an enemy, Yang Lei said, looking at Night Sorrow. It's decided by height. If I were a low-level cultivator, they wouldn't be interested in me. Don't worry, ninth senior sister. With Auntie Fei here, no one can do anything to me, Night Sorrow said, hugging Yang Lei. As we grow stronger, our opponents will also become stronger. If we want to stand firm, we have to improve our cultivation. Sikong Chuyu nodded. I haven't had time to check these days. How's my 12th senior brother in the team? Night Sorrow asked. Guan Yi is very hardworking. Everyone recognizes him. There shouldn't be a problem, Aoi said. That's good. This way, I won't make things difficult for him, and I won't make things difficult for him. Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. Whether or not Guan Yi could join the god-slaying team was very important. If something went wrong, not only would it affect their relationship as brothers, it would also hurt Lu Yangyu's reputation. Besides, Lu Yangyu would also lose face. After drinking tea for a while, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei went to rest. They wanted to give Night Sorrow and Aoi some space. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow sent Aoi back to rest. In front of Aoi's room, Night Sorrow opened his arms and hugged Aoi. Aoi also hugged Night Sorrow's waist. 13th junior brother's chest is very warm. It would be better if 6th senior sister could feel at ease, Night Sorrow said, looking at Aoi's blushing face. Chapter 725. Genius 1 second remember love go/little. I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. Hugging Aoi's body, Night Sorrow instinctively reacted. Aoi, who was leaning on Night Sorrow, felt it. 13th, 6th senior sister isn't free right now. Can we do it later? Aoi's voice was pitifully soft. Night Sorrow was a cultivator, so he couldn't hear her. Yes, 6th senior sister. I didn't think about that. Hugging 6th senior sister makes me feel warm and secure, Night Sorrow said. Aoi then kissed Night Sorrow and ran back to the pavilion. Night Sorrow smiled and returned to the main building. Then, he sat down and cultivated. Now that the sense of danger was getting stronger, he had to hurry up and improve his cultivation. Night Sorrow communicated with the Spacetime Pagoda to help him. His main goal was to improve his bloodline power and soul power. Night Sorrow wanted to improve the power of spatial rend. He wanted to reach the realm where he could tear through space and enter spatial turbulence as soon as possible. That way, he would have more ways to escape if he was chased. In the morning, while the girls were washing up, Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear arts. Aoi also brought him a basin of water. 13. Why did you come back to cultivate last night? Why didn't you accompany 6th senior sister? I'm completely convinced by you. Don't tell me you want 6th senior sister to wait for you in your room. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with disappointment. No, some things are better left to nature, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Some things couldn't be explained. 9th junior sister, why are you so rude now? You dare to say anything. Aoi glared at Yang Lei. Sixth senior sister, I'm doing this for the sake of our family. Yang Lei didn't care about always glare. Ninth senior sister, Chu Yu, the two of you have already advanced to the 7th level of the void inquiry stage. You can take the extreme void pill. However, it's better for you to stabilize your cultivation base first before taking it. Don't leave behind any side effects that might cause you to have an unstable foundation. Sixth senior sister, the same goes for you. Knight Sorrow changed the topic while wiping his face. During the time that Knight Sorrow was in the Realm C, the cultivation bases of the three women had improved tremendously. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei had both advanced to the late Void Inquiry stage and reached the 7th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Aoi had also advanced to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. We're your senior sisters. We know what's going on. We won't make you worry, Aoi said with a smile. After that, Knight Sorrow brought the women to the training ground. The women followed the others to cultivate while Knight Sorrow used the void-splitting spear to practice his spear techniques and improve his cultivation base. Many people did not pay much attention to the cultivation of their cultivation base after entering the Venerable Realm. All of them focused on improving their cultivation base as quickly as possible. However, Knight Sorrow felt that having a high cultivation base was also a foundation. There were many benefits to it. Thus, he never gave up. Knight Sorrow did not use his true chi. Just by waving the void-splitting spear casually, he could cause the energy of heaven and earth to surge. While Knight Sorrow was cultivating, Wu Lingfei came over and sat beside the tea table. She took out a tea set and began to make tea. After cultivating for a while, Knight Sorrow came to Wu Lingfei's side and sat down to drink tea. After sizing up Knight Sorrow, Wu Lingfei poured a cup of tea for Knight Sorrow. While your cultivation base is progressing steadily, don't give up on improving your cultivation base. This is the foundation. The higher your cultivation base is, the smoother your cultivation will be. Also, your body's cultivation base is progressing well. The essence chi smoke is close to 6 zhang. You're not far from the realm where your essence chi smoke will soar into the sky. I won't hide it from you, Auntie Fei. My body's cultivation base has reached the final stage of the 5th stage. Once I break through this stage, my cultivation base will be on par with the Venerable Realm. At that time, my strength will increase even more, Knight Sorrow said. That's good. A strong body is the foundation of a cultivator's great achievements. It's like a bottle. A big bottle, a strong bottle, can hold more energy. Also, you're cultivating the void-splitting spear. The strength of your body is an important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence, Wu Lingfei said. Entering the spatial turbulence? Isn't the strength of the protective barrier the most important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence? Knight Sorrow asked. Normally, that's the case. But have you ever thought about it? The body is the core of the protective barrier. If the core isn't strong, the protective barrier won't be stable. It's like a small tree branch. If you put a heavy armor on it, it won't be able to support it. Spatial turbulence and spatial strangulation will attack through the protective barrier. Therefore, a strong body is very important. Wu Lingfei explained the importance of a strong body to Knight Sorrow. Yi Shang nodded, understanding the logic behind it. Many demon beasts and spirit beast cultivators, as well as some ancient families, have special offensive secret arts and innate divine abilities. The protective barrier can't completely block attacks. At that time, the strength of the body is the key to defense. Wu Lingfei explained to Knight Sorrow again. I understand innate divine abilities. I also know a little about ancient families. But where did their secret arts come from? Were they created by their ancestors? Knight Sorrow asked curiously. How do I put it? Demon beasts and spirit beasts can transform. After transforming, they are no different from humans. Some marry human women, and some marry human men. Their descendants have a chance to inherit their parents' bloodline and inheritance. The more talented they are, the more likely they will inherit their parents' innate divine abilities. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow about the inheritance of ancient families. I see. Ah. Then our Night Moon dynasty is the same. Could it be that I also have the bloodline of demon beasts or spirit beasts? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. What's so surprising about that? It depends on whether or not your family has records of it. Spatial rend isn't simple, but the situation isn't necessarily the same as what Auntie Faye said. There are also some ancient bloodlines. Their parents or ancestors have cultivated to a level recognized by the heavenly Tao. They can be passed down to their descendants. Do you really care about this? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. It's nothing. I'm just curious. I feel that races are very complicated. Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead and said. It's not complicated. Perhaps there is racial discrimination. Humans look down on demon beasts, and demon beasts with extraordinary talents look down on humans. For example, the golden dragon race will never marry with other races. Wu Lingfei said. Yong Chu Jiu Yi Fei read novels. Auntie Fei, you don't look down on humans, do you? Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei. How do I put it? It's not a matter of looking down on him or not. It's mainly a matter of getting along with him. He has nothing to do with Auntie Fei, so why would I look down on him or not? What about you? Wu Lingfei asked Yi Shang. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, in fact, I have some thoughts. I can't deny that some evil races are repelled. However, Auntie Fei is the one I respect the most in my heart. This will never change. Indeed, it is impossible to say that there is no rejection at all. Some races are born to fight, while others are born to be evil. This is something that cannot be changed. However, many of the higher-ranked races are arrogant and disdain to do such despicable things. Wu Lingfei told Yi Shang some things that no one else knew. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.